Greetings in the name of the Most High Jah Rastafari. This is the girl Jenjins, the Jenny, Auntie Jenny, and if you want to get home, Miss John Professor. Well, another edition of the week of the thing unfiltered. People, the week has started since yesterday. Today's Tuesday. Just now it's Christmas, year started just a couple of days ago. And it doesn't look like that. But time and tide waits on no one, but I just wait on my feet. Thanks to all those who on Facebook and those who would also join on YouTube, Bounce Up channel. Thank you all always so much for the support. So let me get us things started right because we have plenty of things to talk. And now for the pledge.
I solemnly pledge to dedicate my life to the service of my God and my country. I will honor my parents, my teachers, my leaders, and my elders, and those in authority. I will be clean and honest in all my thoughts, my words, and my deeds. I will strive in everything I do to work together with my fellow men of every creed and race for the greater happiness of all and the honor and glory of my country.
People, we are in a time where we have to know our anthem and the pledge, and it has to mean something. People, anyway, let's have a segment, I'll do a little back history. So let me see what I have here for you all today. You must learn something at the end of the day. Lesson to this, a hero in her own right.
She led over 300 slaves to freedom. This is the story of Harriet Tubman. Born into slavery in Maryland, she endured the horrors of oppression from a young age. Determined to be free, she escaped slavery in 1849, courageously navigating the Underground Railroad. Her life was constantly under threat, with a $40,000 reward for her capture, dead or alive, highlighting the peril she faced. Yet, she continued to fight, guiding over 300 slaves to freedom in Upper Canada. Harriet Tubman died on March 10, 1913, in Auburn, New York, after a life marked by her unwavering commitment to freedom and justice.
All of these things are little snippets. I would encourage you all to go and look up these things and learn a little more. Right? Listen to this one. I'm sure a lot of us, or a lot of you may not have known about this individual.
Aunt Polly Jackson, the silent warrior of the Underground Railroad. In the narrative of America's fight for freedom, few stories resonate like that of Aunt Polly Jackson. She was an escaped slave turned savior in the clandestine network of the Underground Railroad in Ohio's unique settlement of Africa, which was a refuge for those fleeing the horrors of enslavement. Jackson stood as a symbol of defiance and protection. By night, she disguised herself as an elderly woman and armed herself with nothing more than a butcher knife and a kettle of boiling water. Like this, she fought against slave catchers, like she'd be a grumpy-looking Batman. Her humble home became a critical stop on the journey to liberty, offering shelter and hope to countless souls. Jackson's legacy tells a story of courage beyond self-preservation. It's a tale of a woman who, with each daring act and life she helped save, quietly dismantled the chains of slavery. Though her name may not be widely known, her actions remain a testament to the relentless spirit of those who fought for freedom in the darkest of times.
Yes, so we always hear about Harriet Tubman, and we hear about Auntie Polly, strong black woman who would have stood up and fought even under the circumstances that they were living, enslavement, chattel slavery, oppression. They didn't sit down and say, oh God, what we gonna do? And hold their head and say, oh, we can't do nothing. They didn't say that at all. Listen to this also.
The first cowboys in America weren't white, they were black. That's right, the iconic cowboys you've seen in movies were mostly black men who were once enslaved or freed. They worked ranches in the South, herding cattle and shaping the Wild West. The term cowboy itself was originally a slur used against these black men, while white workers were called cowhands. But names like Nat Love and Bass Reeves, true pioneers of the West, were the ones who built the cowboy legacy. Bass Reeves even became the first black deputy U.S. Marshal in the Indian Territory, capturing outlaws and enforcing the law. Hollywood has erased their stories. Why? Because it messes with the narrative they've sold for over a century. But we're flipping that script. The Wild West wasn't just built by white settlers, it was shaped by black cowboys who fought, worked, and led the frontier. Like, share, and follow for more untold black history that Hollywood won't show you.
Yeah, and it makes sense when you think about it. Back in those days, when they say boy is usually the African man, they will refer to as a form of insult. And they really call the whites hands, cow hands. And so when they show you the cowboys in America and movies and all that, they always show it as if it's only white people. No, first cowboys were people of African descent. And this mayor of New York is growing on me. He's sweet too bad. Zoran Mandani. This is him here. He has said that New York will remain a city of migrants because he came from that also. And he picked up Trinidad and all the Caribbean countries and other areas where migrants came from. But only watch him doing this now. It's easy, now. Watch this.
Is the Working Families Party in the house? Is Guyana in the house? Is Jamaica in the house? Is Barbados in the house? Is Trinidad in the house? Is St. Kitts and Nevis in the house? Is the Caribbean in the house? 20% of New Yorkers have their roots in the Caribbean. We know that Brooklyn is the largest Caribbean island outside of the Caribbean. And we are here today to celebrate the beauty and the breadth of this community. And I have always said that a good leader is a good listener. So before you ask me to whine, I need to see a good example. I need to see from those around me what kind of leadership I have to be following.
All right, we're gonna do something simple. And I want everybody to do the same thing with me. You hear the beat? Left, right, just follow me. Look at the person like, oh God, he can whine. Oh, he can whine. Picks, he can whine. News one.
Picks, he can whine.
Abroad, he can whine.
Fox, he can whine.
New York one, he can whine.
Come on, come on, come on.
NBC, he can whine. Fox News, in your mother Scott. Fox News, in your mother God. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. So everybody say, who are we? Everybody say, who are we? Everybody say, who are we? One more time, say, who are we? Take a right now. Something simple. Something simple. I want y'all to make some crazy noise for Zoran Mandani!
But only one critique, it should be a Trinidadian showing him how to wine. But big up to my Ghanese brother at the end of the day. But hey, Mandami, I could see it only for carnival. That's if we have a carnival. Or you think it easy? That's if we have a carnival. I want to know, we go sit down just so. Anyway, we come into that. So Tanapuna had the parade, they have it every year. And they said that Tanapuna Day goes ahead without Trinidad and Tobago Police Service in the parade. Young Josiah, I see him, Josiah, the chairman of the corporation, Tanapuna Regional, Tanapuna Piaco Regional Corporation. I think that one of the biggest corporation, Young and innovative. You remember the man who was getting in trouble the time? I just saying it because sometimes when you see people getting on big and like Captain and them getting on with the big on the bag and animal and knocking all of them and the thing. I remember it used to have a man getting on, so remember when he built the police post? No, not the police post, not the guard thing. And I remember the situation with Pro. Again, I'm drawing reference, not glorifying. Drawing reference to where is that individual today? Such as life. And so this was in the Guardian, the annual Tanapuna Day military parade continued without any formation from the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service yesterday. However, chairman of the Tanapuna, so that happened on Sunday. However, chairman of the Tanapuna Regional Corporation, Josiah Augustine, said he was nonetheless grateful for the support of Police Commissioner Alistair Guevara in facilitating the celebrations. The third annual military parade, which forms part of the Tanapuna Day celebrations, began just 11 a.m. at Constantine Park, Mokoya. Formations from the Trinidad and Tobago Cadet Force, the Air Scouts, the TNT Fire Service, and the University of the Southern Caribbean Marching Band were present. Speaking with reporters after the after parade reception, Austin confirmed that the TTPS opted not to participate in the parade as there was no commander to lead the formation. He said he was grateful for the assistance of Commissioner Guevara, who still assigned the TTPS marching band to the event. Ideally, when we first asked, we were told that there was a passing out ceremony coming up, and as such, they had to maneuver things, and I know they did the best as they could do to ensure we have some representation here today. But unfortunately, there were no commander, so the band and the detachment couldn't carry on. But we are thankful for them, at least for showing up, and they're showing up for all the years prior. And to be fair, we were the only real military parade in this country for this year. So we were thankful for what was presented here today. Let me see. Since the parade has continued to grow in popularity and attraction since its inception and has mirrored the growth and development of the Tanapuna Piaco region. A Train City native, Austin, said he has seen firsthand the development of the community and said the regional corporation continues to fulfill its mandate through cooperation from government and private sector and stakeholders. I have seen where in this time and by this council, we have found innovative ways to meet the needs of the Burgesses. Obviously, with what we were afforded as a corporation, it was not enough. We have done partnerships with the TCL where road restoration is concerned, and we intend to carry this all the way to the Aripo and Blantyshires and the more distant areas because we want to touch and help each and everyone. Since that entire Tanapuna Regional Corporation, TPRC, serves over 250,000 people and said such public-private partnerships would assist in further development across their region of responsibility. He also said the opening of the priority bus route to facilitate the flow of traffic as a portion of the eastern Main Road was closed off for the parade, and Saturday night pan and powder celebration was done without any incident. So congratulations there to the Tanapuna Piaco Regional Corporation on the successful pan and powder. If I had only gone that near my allergy and that powder, I would have been sneezing and coughing all now. So congratulations to them. And yes, all the corporation, it appears that well, this is an interesting one, because the Protestant Corporation and all those corporations along the East West Corridor get a little bit of money, while those across the Caney Bridge get 2 and 3 times what the corporation on this side get. I know for Portispan Regional Corporation, they get 4 million, but in some other corporation now across the Canary Bridge get 20-something million and all that. So is it a calculated apartheid or a calculated institutionalized racism? Just asking. If you want to know, you have to ask questions. So let me continue. So I see something very interesting about apples being grown in Trinidad. I say, so I had to get me a tree. So this was in the Guardian yesterday, tropical apples to grow in TNT. The dream of growing apples under the Caribbean sun is quickly taking root in Trinidad and Tobago. More than 1,000 people have already expressed interest in planting the tropical apple variety developed by the late Kenyan innovator H.P. Wambugu, an idea that once seemed impossible for this region. His daughter Kate Wambugu now carries the torch. On a recent visit to the Apple Tree Research Center Caribbean in Londonville, she walked among the young trees with quiet confidence, sharing stories of her father's breakthrough in 1985. She also met with more than 200 farmers in Vancouver, many eager to carve out their place in what could now become a new frontier crop for Trinidad and Tobago. She wanted to plant acres, others just a few trees. Some wanted to plant acres, others just a few trees in their backyard. Bubu said, noting that interest is coming from both seasoned farmers and first-time growers. All of the 11 varieties her family developed, 4 have shown remarkable performance in tropical climates, already thriving across 37 countries. The promise is enticing. Each plant could yield over 300 apples a year, live for more than 80 years, and produce fruit with a notable longer shelf life than any conventional variety. And those planted now, and for those planted now, they won't wait too long. Trees established in Jamaica and TNT expected to begin bearing fruit by mid-2026. The plant flowers at around 9 months, with fruit maturing shortly after. Wambugu said she intends to provide technical support to help local growers establish a solid, sustainable industry. The potential here is huge, she said. From Bonnie Abdul, owner of the Apple Tree Research Center Caribbean, the journey has been far from easy, but he believes the payoff is near. His operation has been entirely self-funded, a sacrifice that included selling seedlings to keep his workers paid. And when he approached financial institutions for support, he said he was laughed out of town. Well, who have the last laugh now, Mr. Abdul? When your fruits behind your picket go in them institution and carry some for them and say, hey, well, you remember when I come for the money for the thing? Watch it now. It should anyway. So maybe not mean, because once when the bite is, it should. Hey. Still, Abdul remains undeterred. Standing amongst rows of young apple trees, he said the skepticism won't last much longer. Once people see these trees bearing, more farmers are going to come on board. He said, certain that the orchard first fruit will not only prove the doubter wrong, but also open the door to a broad new agriculture PT and TNT. Mr. Abdul, I come in and check you. I want to plant about 2 trees in my yard. I'm not into the whole farming thing, but I go plant a little 2-tree thing in my yard. I go have my apples. So I go have mangoes, apples, and some other stuff. So I'm also seeing something here. All you know, we just have to read things first. We just have to go around the world. We have to open our mind. We have to get some history, some knowledge, and all that before we get to the political background, right? So this was yesterday in the Guardian. Litterbug apologizes and cleans Shoguana's roadside. A Shoguana's man caught littering has apologized to fellow Burgesses and the people of TNT, vowing never again to dump rubbish illegally along the roadway. The 26-year-old from Edinburgh, who asked not to be have his name published, spent most of a recent Sunday morning cleaning up an illegal dump site after being apprehended by the Chaguanas Municipal Police following an investigation. ASP Lisa Philip told Guardian Media that the members of the community had recorded a man dumping bags of garbage on November the 9th and later posted a footage on social media. She said her team contacted him and instead of issuing a fine, reached an agreement requiring him to clean up the pile of refuse located on the southern end of the roundabout linking Caroni, Savannah Road, and the connector road between Shoguna's Main Road and Pier Road. The road is situated in an abandoned housing estate previously owned by Caroni 1975 Limited and now vested in state land. We are not a society that believes jail is suited for all offenses. We are a restorative society. I'm going to fix my glasses for that. ASP Phillips said, we decided to broker an agreement where he would return and clean up the place. While acknowledging that the man may not have been responsible for all the rubbish, Phillips said it was a case of Peter paying for Paul. She noted that patrols will be increased and warned that individuals caught littering will face fines up to $3,000. The municipal police, she added, are also exploring additional ways for litterbugs to make amends. Police have further vowed to crack down on owners of shipping containers illegally parked on the eastern end of the roadway, creating a hazard. Well, you know what? That is good. I hope that when he pick it up and he can go and dump it somewhere else, I hope that he is told where to go and get rid of that rubbish in a safe way. It have a little more, but I ain't going to read all that. I just wanted to read ways I was dealing with that man. So to say good job is like, okay, you should not litter in the first place. All right. So let me continue. People, I just want to talk a minute about NIS and old age pension. I call it the name that we know it from previous time, old age pension, because we have conversation on social media. And there are some people I realize don't understand this whole situation with NIS contributions, payments, when the 15th of the month come and who gets it and who don't get it and all that kind of thing, right? So I said, let me just look into it. I'm not an expert, but I have enough common sense to understand the thing. So I said, let me look at National Insurance Board at Trinidad and Tobago and the history of the National Insurance Board. So it says here on their page, the National Insurance Board of Trinidad and Tobago is a body corporate established by Act of Parliament number 35 of 1971. Once you say 1971, you're talking about People's National Movement and Dr. Eric Eustace Williams. The NIBTT takes pride in being a customer-oriented, so that's the National Insurance Board Trinidad and Tobago. The acronym is NIBTT. Takes pride in being a customer-oriented and service-driven organization responsible for the operation and administration of the country's national insurance system, NIS, which provides protection to over 600,000 insured persons against the economic and social distress caused by loss of earnings arising out of work-related injury and other contingencies. So that's where you get maternity, disability grants, and you have maternity grants, and then you have on the 15th of the month, the national insurance payment that people get who will have worked and made contributions, right? We'll come to that. So we continue to focus on improving efficiency and creating new opportunities for serving our 634,831 customers. Today, they stand proud, adding value to our customers' life with 23 benefits in 7 categories, 14 conveniently located service centers, and a vision for the future. So let me see what are some of the benefits they offer. So just a minute. I need to go into all that, right? Uh, uh, uh. Give me a minute. Okay, so just a little paragraph here before I get into the thing. It is appropriate to indicate very briefly the historical sequence of events which led to the proclamation of Act number 35 of 1971. After a series of joint studies undertaken by the government of Trinidad and Tobago and the International Labour Organization from as early as 1958, a small unit of public servants was set up in the Ministries of Finance in 1966 under the direct supervision of its parliamentary secretary to undertake preparatory work for developing a comprehensive system of social security for Trinidad and Tobago. So there was consultation with the government and citizens, right? Two major developments resulted from the work of the unit. Firstly, a division of pensions and national insurance, excuse me, was established in the Ministry of Finance in 1968. And secondly, a white paper on social security for Trinidad and Tobago was prepared and circulated for public comment in September 1969. They ensued from the evaluation of public comment a series of tripartite discussions between government, representatives of the business sector, and the labor movement. Following on this, the tripartite conference on social security was organized to examine in detail the content of the white paper and comments associated therein. Consequent upon the conclusion of the conference, a new document was published incorporating the combined views of government, business, and labor. The next stage in the development of the national insurance system relating to the drafting of the relevant legislation, this was undertaken in two phases. The first step required the enactment of registration laws, which put an obligation on employers to register themselves and also to ensure the registration of workers in their employment. Act number 42 of 1970 provided for this. In addition, it provided for authorized officers in the service of the Division of Pension and National Insurance, which by now had been reassigned from the Ministry of Finance to the Ministry of Labor, Social Security, and Cooperatives, to be empowered to perform certain functions in respect of the registration of employees and employed persons, of employers and employed persons. The second step involved the enactment of the principal legislation provided for the establishment of a national insurance system, deriving income and payment benefits from compulsory contribution paid by employers and employees. The Principal Instrument Act number 35 of 1971 also made provision for the management of the system. Its mode of operation, the proclamation of appointed days for bringing the system into operation, and for the introduction of several benefits and other related matters considered necessary to its efficient and effective functioning. The appointed day for bringing national insurance on stream was April the 10th, 1972. It would be readily appreciated that the introduction of a system of such magnitude, directly affecting the lives of a substantial percentage of the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago, had to be preceded by a vast education campaign. This important pre-legislation phase of development was conducted for a period of almost 2 years and involved every member of staff. Seminars, lectures, discussion, and informal talks were held throughout Trinidad and Tobago. Pamphlets, posters, and handbills were extensively used to spread knowledge about the system. The program was spearheaded by the Public Relations Department, which, with a minimum of staff, performed a public education feat of no mean significance, right? So that is how the PNM does things. The PNM does things like consultation, getting everybody on board, education, and you see how they went about getting people on board to understand what is the national insurance and what it was about. So let me read about old age pension. People say senior citizens grant, some people say senior citizen pension, right? And it speaks about how it could be disqualified from getting it. So you can be disqualified from getting a senior citizen pension, formerly senior citizens grant in Trinidad and Tobago, if you do not meet specific age, residency, or income requirements if you provide false information. Not meeting eligibility criteria, age. The person must be 65 years of age or older, and not meeting this age requirement is the disqualifier. Whereas with the national insurance is 60 years old, with the old age pension is 65 years old. Residency, the applicant must meet one of the following residency criteria in Trinidad and Tobago. Ordinarily, residents for a period of at least 20 years immediately preceding the application, with temporary absences not exceeding a total of 5 years, or residing in Trinidad and Tobago and having lived in the country for at least 50 years in aggregate. Income limit, your personal monthly income must not exceed $5,500 TT. You hear that? Your personal monthly income must not exceed 5,500 TT. A bill has been, no, not this one. Residing in a state-funded institution can be a disqualifier. Only making a false statement or representation to obtain or continue receiving a grant can lead to disqualification and potentially a fine or imprisonment. If it appears that you have deliberately deprived yourself of an income or asset to qualify for the grant, the income will still be counted on your total means assessment, which could push you over the income limit and disqualify you. The grant is generally for those who do not receive a pension from other government agencies like the NIS pension that I spoke about. And if you want more information, you can go up and Google and you will get the information. So let me get to the heat of the matter. As I said, with the national insurance, you retire at 60, that's the age of retirement in this country, retire at 60. Whether you're working in the public service, which is like public officers, the government service and that, and private, like those corporations and companies, and like in a store and those kind of things, right? At 60, you retire. Your insurance, national insurance payment on the 15th of the month will depend on a couple of things. Who can also get it and who can get more. So your length of service, the classification of worker will range in the public service and in the private sector, the level of employee that you on, your salary that you're getting there, and the amount of contribution that you make. You have to make 750 contributions in order for you to get a NIS payment or NIB payment or NIS pension, as they call it, when the 15th of the month comes. If you did not make 750 payments and you would have worked somewhere, whether in private or the government sector, you get a lump sum and you don't get anything else. If you're a government worker or the company or whatever you're working with has a pension plan, you'll be able to get your pension plan from where you workplace. For instance, public officers, when they retire at 60, having made a 750 payments and sometimes more, which you just get a lump sum for the more than 750. You get on every month, every 15 to get the $3,000, and you get your pension from your job that you was working. Those in the public sector and private sector and the government service who would get sometime more than the $3,000 and the 15 are those who, as I say, working in higher categories, so permanent secretaries and deputy permanent secretaries and heads of department, all those in those big ranges, they pay more in income, in national insurance contributions. The payments is more. So when they retire, they will get more, right? If you have never worked before in this country, never worked before, and at 65 you apply for old age pension, you can get the old age pension once it does not, your other income that you get, because you might have somebody that send money for you, you might be planting a little garden, you might have a little shop or something, whatever it is. Once what you're making from those areas does not exceed $5,500, you will get your, and you meet the criteria, of course, other criteria, you would get your old age pension at 65. I want to mention this that a lot of people don't realize. Under the UNC, the ceiling price, the ceiling of the money that you could have gotten from national insurance and old age pension, $4,500. So those who would have made a 750 payments in NIB, whether they was working in a store or they work URP or they work CPEP or whatever area, and they made a 750 payments, they would get their monthly, or at the 15th, you would get your national insurance payment. And when you're 65, because your place of work didn't have a pension for you, at 65 now, you apply for the old age pension, and that was only $1,500. So 1,500 plus 3,000, that would make it the 4,500. So anytime you're getting more than that, you was not able to get your old age pension. When the PNM came in 2015, they raised the ceiling from $4,500 to $5,500, meaning that now the old age pension went to $2,500 instead of $1,500. And that if you were getting your NIS money from there, the pension as they call it, when you add that 3,000 to the 2,005, you got 5,005. So that's how the cookie crumble. So people don't realize that under Dr. Keith Christopher Rowley, the old age pension was increased by $1,000 and it became $2,500. Under Kamla Prasad Bisesa, it was just $1,500. The only people that get, you see, daily rated officers, that's why it does always upset me, because they work all their life in the government service. They were the tradesmen, women, and their union never negotiated a pension, so they could have put money towards a pension like public officers. Money does go towards our pension when we work. They have no pension plan. So what they get their national insurance in the 15th of the month. Once they make the 750 payments, and if they make more, then you get a lump sum for the more, but 750 payment is 3,000, unless you're in a high range in the workspace. But they have to wait at 60 when they retire. They just get that at the 15th. And they have to wait till they're 65 and apply for old age pension and get the $2,500. So I hope that brought some clarity to some. And let me move on. So, people, ouch. I saw this and this. I said to myself, oh God, every time so they want to get themselves caught up in all these kind of things, boy. And it had to do with some scam. Recent scandals involving Microsoft in India are not directly from Microsoft itself, but fraud rings impersonating its tech support and from the collapse of a Microsoft back startup. In November 2025, Bengaluru police busted a large scam center impersonating Microsoft to cheat foreign nationals, following earlier raids in May and October 2025 on similar operations. Separately, the Microsoft-backed startup from Builder AI filed for bankruptcy in May 2025 after allegations of using 700 engineers to manually build apps instead of AI as claimed and inflating revenue. Fake tech support scams in November 2025, a large-scale operation in Bengaluru was dismantled where employees posted or posed as Microsoft support technicians to defraud foreign nationals, particularly Americans. This follows previous international efforts with Microsoft Digital Crime Unit collaborating with Indian police to raid similar call centers in May 2025 and October 2024 that was scamming Japanese citizens. AI used in the scam, so investigators noted that modern scam operations are using generative AI to scale up the activities, creating fake alerts and scripts. So people want to be very, very careful. They said Microsoft backup startups valued over $1 billion filed for bankruptcy after it was revealed that its AI apps were being built by human engineers. The company also allegedly inflated revenue and is under a federal investigation for investor fraud. The company is also facing scrutiny for financial mismanagement and allegedly using fake transactions to inflate its numbers. So, Papa, die back and all day. Why them have to always be in all kind of bacchanal? So let's be very, very careful with when they're selling things to tell you it's a good deal and to put money towards this and all that. Be very, very careful. I'm seeing that the former, where is it? That's proper English. Where is it? So I took this from Mr. Pierce Robinson page. She has a lot of info, and I said, let me use it once the man in mind because it could share. So I share it to myself, right? It says this former Bangladesh Prime Minister Hasina convicted of crimes against humanity and sentenced to death. Bangladesh former Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina has been convicted of crimes against humanity and sentenced to death in absentia following a landmark ruling by the International Crimes Tribunal. The three-judge panel found her responsible for directing last year's violent suppression of nationwide students' protests, a crackdown that ultimately toppled her government. The verdict concluded that Hasina exercised command responsibility during the unrest, authorizing escalated force despite mounting civilian casualties. According to the tribunal, Hasina was responsible for inciting and enabling a brutal campaign of state violence, including extrajudicial killings, disappearance, torture, and the use of lethal force against unarmed demonstrators. The court said these actions constituted systematic crimes against the civilian population during the 2024 uprising, which left hundreds dead and thousands injured. Evidence presented included internal briefings, survivor testimonies, and communication attributed to senior officials in her administration. Hasina has fled Bangladesh after her government collapsed, did not participate in the proceeding, or who had fled Bangladesh after her government collapsed, did not participate in the proceedings and maintains the charges are politically motivated. The sentence deepens the country's political crisis and sets the stage for international scrutiny as questions grow over legal process, accountability, and the broader consequences of a former head of government being condemned to death. Bangladesh now faces a volatile period as the implication of today's judgment reverberates at home and abroad. So let's keep our eyes on that. People, let's keep our eyes on that. I saw this in United Africa, and it said, on this day, 4th of November, 1975, so it would have been back on the 4th of November. Exactly 50 years ago, Cuban President Fidel Castro made a decisive move to send Cuban troops to Angola following South Africa's military invasion of the newly independent nation. The decision marked the start of one of the most consequential international interventions in modern African history. Angola's ruling party, the MPLA, had just declared independence from Portugal and was facing attacks from South African forces and the UNITA movement, backed by the United States. Let me read that again. Angola's ruling party, the MPLA, had just declared independence from Portugal and was facing attacks from South African forces and the UNITA movement, backed by the United States. In response, Cuba deployed around 36,000 troops to support the MPLA and repel South Africa's advance, a move that shifted the balance of power in South Africa. By the late 1970s, the number of South African troops in Angola had risen to about 60,000, escalating the regional conflict. Yet Cuba's sustained military presence proved pivotal in defending Angola's sovereignty and ultimately paved the way for Namibia's independence in 1990 and the weakening of the apartheid rule in South Africa. So all who feel that in UNC feel that America is the savior and America care about anything else but America, all you need to read history, not me saying so, you read history. I want you all to hear what this young gentleman is saying. And young people are getting involved, young people are speaking out. Yes, he's not Trinidadian, he's African American youth, but they are speaking out. Listen to what he has to say.
Y'all take a look at this.
I told him this morning what we've talked about many times and what I've said here before. The president is on the ballot in 2026. President Trump is on the ballot next fall. Because if we lose the majority, if the Republicans, the common sense people here who are doing the job for the American people, if we lose the majority in the House and this radical element of the Democrat Party were able to take over, we've already seen that movie. They will try to end the Trump administration. He won't have 4 years, he'll have only 2, because they will move to impeach him probably on the first day of the new Congress in January 2027. And they will try to systematically unwind all the important reforms that we've done for the American people.
Yes, we will. Because that man has done enough damage to this country to justify being shown the door 10 times over. You are right, Mike, about one thing. Trump is on the ballot next year, but so is democracy. So is decency. So is the soul of this country. You say it like it's a warning, but to us, it's a promise. Because if he wasn't doing anything impeachable, if he wasn't breaking the law, bending the rules, or spitting in the face of the Constitution, impeachment wouldn't even be a talking point. But you're worried because you know he's done things that can't survive real scrutiny. This man has ignored court orders, defied the Constitution like it's optional, used ICE to terrorize families and deport people without due process, targeted judges, journalists, and anyone who dared to tell the truth about him. He's turned the presidency into a shield for corruption and cruelty. And while Americans struggle to pay rent, he's out here tearing down the people's house and building gold-plated ballrooms, pretending that's leadership. So no, this isn't some radical plan to unwind reforms. This is a movement to restore the rule of law, to bring back integrity, to remind this administration that America is not a monarchy, that no man, no matter how loud, no matter how rich, no matter how vengeful, is above accountability. They think this is a winning message, telling people to be afraid of democracy, afraid of oversight, and afraid of justice, but it's not. It's desperation when your whole campaign pitch is, please don't let them hold us accountable. You've already lost the moral high ground. You've already admitted that you know what's coming if you lose power. And let me make one thing clear. When we win in 2026, and we will, we're not walking in timid. We're walking in ready to investigate every abuse, every defiance, every unconstitutional act that's taken place under this regime. Ready to make sure that, yes, he only serves 2 years, because if we allow him 4, we may not have a country left afterwards. They want to scare people into silence, but that time is over. We're wide awake now. We see through the propaganda, we see through the chaos, and we're not backing down. So yeah, Mike Johnson, you are absolutely right. We're coming for accountability. We're coming for justice, and we're coming for every piece of this democracy that Trump tried to take from us. Because this time it's not.
Yeah. Young people are speaking about, I think that man, he talking about some microwave, it's about third in line for presidency or something like that. They're talking, they're willing to stand up for democracy. What are we standing for? I see, and I made a comment today, that in St. Vincent, now let me tell you something, whoever wants to wear a color, that is not my issue, but it's so disconcerting, or certain, or whatever the damn hell the word is. It's unsettling. I'm going to leave it at that. It's unsettling. That they're all of a sudden, you see, you could add the dots together, or the numbers together, 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1, and you could get an answer. Some might ball, oh, you're talking stupidness, but let me tell you something. With the United States of America, you have to be winking, thinking, and blinking. So, all of a sudden, Annie Roberts, Junior Minister and the Minister of Housing, mean if them job is to sit down and go through people file and see all who get house and all who didn't get house. But whatever it is, we know the story, the luxury house apartments down at Victoria Keys. That was under Mr. Patrick Mallin's vision, was for low-income earners who I think were making $25,000 or some, or less than that, or some kind of thing. So Kamla Prasad and when they came in, the building was about 90-something%, nearly finished. They went and upgraded and put in swimming pool, tennis, all kind of things they put in it. And by the time the PNM coming in 2015, you couldn't sell them houses or rent them houses to low-income earner because of the kind of luxury things that went into it. It raised the value of the property and it raised the rent and mortgage and everything. So to make that money, because it was costing 20-something million, anyway, the UNC skyrocketed up to 40-something million or 50-something million, it's HDC. They had to make back that money. My figures may not be totally correct, but all you get the gist. So they put these apartments, is not something HGC does normally do, because HGC build houses for low-income earners. But they had to put it on the open market to see if people will buy it. When you put house on the open market or apartment open market, you could be in the mid in Germany, in the Congo, you could be in France, right in Tobago, right in Trinidad, it could be in Japan. It's out there in the market, a realtor take it over, you could buy it if you want. If you had the money. And the Gonzalez family, which is so ironic, the whole Gonzalez family have Trini roots. Dr. Ralph Gonzalez, Prime Minister of St. Vincent Grenadines, his mother was Trinidadian. Miss Eloise Gonzalez, his wife, she was born right here. She children, just the fact that she's Trinidadian, they're Trinidadian by descent. They bought houses, they bought the apartments, 2 apartments and 1 rent to own. People hold on to the rent to own. When they put it in the open market, they could make their own new contract now, whether they rent to own or whatever the case may be. But the thing is, the apartments were out of the reach of the normal people, 1.5 million up to 4-point-something million. Who, ordinary public officer, private sector worker, working in the store, working, could buy them house. So Anna Roberts conveniently, in my opinion, get those documents and had it posted all over And it's ironic that St. Vincent is having an election just now. And Dr. Ralph Gonzalez always had tie with the PNM in a roundabout in the sense that he and deceased Patrick Malin was the prime minister. They went university together, real good friends, PNM. And the color of his party is red. So they have that out there now. The opposition in St. Vincent, it look like the color of them jersey, them color is yellow. Excuse me. Now pick up steam. We never hear Vinci election and all that kind of bacchanal on social media. So they get steam, they get life, and they hold on to that. Them in the yellow in St. Vincent. And if you close your, if not close your, if you turn your ears against the accent, you swear it's Trinidad you in. The way how they carry on, them in the yellow. And then lo and behold, I see a video going around with St. Lucia who going to have an election just now. The opposition, yellow too. And Maximilian or Maxidon, however he named the little fair-skinned one from down Saudi, who was the counselor and he's some entertainer and whatever. He out there singing, and them fellas and them lighting the top and all kind of thing. And if you see the behavior, and I say, but them getting on just like how it was in the election for April 28, 2025 in Trinidad. So I started to ask myself, is there a link with the opposition? Because you know this government love opposition party, because when I was in opposition, they used to write all kind of opposition party supposed to say that the PNM government involved in all kind of scandalous and corrupt deal. They did it with the Australians when the Australians were building the boat first, and they write to the opposition in Australia, alluding to Trinidad government led by Dr. Christopher Rowley in corrupt practices for the building of the boat with the Australian government. So they love opposition thing, right? And I'm saying, all of a sudden, this kind of link up. When I see Maxidon and Maximilian, whatever, thing, I say, hey. So I'm asking myself, and then the Americans are here, looking for regime change in Venezuela. And then, CARICOM continue to say this is a zone of peace. Grenada was asked to let America put the assets in the airport or whatever. Grenada has diplomatically, in my opinion, have kind of rest back on that. Barbados talking out against what's happening here, and other countries, St. Vincent, other countries happening here. So I just ask him, is it that there's some kind of thing behind them two countries to get the opposition to win, and then all them link together and continue to help weaken CARICOM? I just asking a question. So the youths and the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines and those in St. Lucia, or they'll be well advised to leave Kamala Prasad-Bissess and the UNC behavior out of all your election and make an informed decision, not because they get caught up with a jingle or a phrase, the yellow is the code, or whatever your party name when they win or they win. Don't get caught up and tied up with what happened in Trinidad, because I will tell you, in the short 6 months or 7 months, the UNC has been in office in Trinidad. They have brought us nothing more than suffering and pain. Same thing will happen to all they allow all themselves to be caught up in that hype thing. So why I say all this too, I see this, she looked like she's a Vinci woman. She all caught up in the yellow juice. And this whole thing with when Annie Roberts come out and talk about the houses, the apartments, the luxury apartment that was on open market that Dr. Gonzalez's wife and children were to purchase. So listen to her.
Caribbean cousins, especially those who live in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Allegedly, word on the street was, Madam First Lady, when barrel take place, she said. When suffrage, she said. When vaccine mandate, she said. But when my Trinidadian cousin come out, she came up and spoke. To what? To play the victim role. To tell the Vincentian people that how they are demonizing their family. And what? Trini, I love all you know. Bring more documentation. Bring more to the table. Let go the puss out of the bag. Let the Vincentian people know that this government is only for the elites. What? They mess with the wrong Trinidadian people. They don't play, you know. They do not play. Trini, oh God, oh, they're sweet, so sweet. I love it. Vincentians, thank all your Trini family. Thank all your Trini cousins. Because I am thanking them. More to come. More to come. Don't forget to vote on November 27. Undecided voters. All you have the truth on the table. It's only elites, you know. But the Trinidadian family is exposing them. Trini to the bone.
Yeah? And I say to myself, that young lady may be well intentioned, but she's misinformed. Because again, who will not come out and defend a position where you have all my banking information, financial information, where I have my money and all that, and you're talking it out, you're saying, no, my children living and all that, and I am the wife of the Prime Minister of a country. So in that respect, Miss Eloise Gonzalez had all right to come on. The other things the woman talking about, I don't know, I don't live in St. Vincent. I live in St. Vincent. But you know what? My both parents are Vincentian, so me is Vincy too. So me can talk on Vincy thing, yeah? So I want to tell the young lady, you may have good intentions, but you see that yellow code you want to go down and take information and chain up from? Let me show you who you, Miss Lady, my young Vincy cousin, who you taking information from and talking about they're easy. Watch it.
I know. I know. I know. Yo. Look, I'm good. How are you?
Yeah,
nice
day.
Nice meeting you. Enjoy your carnival.
Yeah.
No, he said this is not he. Me didn't know I wasn't in that room. But my young Vincy cousin, my young Vincy family, watch this. I wasn't in the room, so me and say, see, me and say is not he. I don't know. You could probably make a decision, my young Vincy family.
Experience. Okay, come. I'm not talking to you, man. Come in.
One video clip shows the man who looks a lot like a current government minister seen doing some interesting things.
Throw the cigarette.
Yeah.
Pull it.
I could do that. Because it's for me to pull man, I never touch. They just roll it for them boys, all my boys. But you see me, I could drink rum whole day and night. If I take 2 points, go on drink. The community for me. Anyway, separate what we want to put back inside. No, this is what it is. Take what we going to take all this.
It's the English style and all of the name.
Well, right, I the English boy.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dan. That's fancy thing. You play. So you're not big smoker. You got to man, I bring a man to roll it nice. You know, roll that so good, you got to smoke that by yourself. At least 20 different partners.
It's unknown who shot the video, when it was shot, and where exactly it was shot, but it appears to be in a hotel room. And in this shot, we can see a set of keys with a tag marked 201. TV6 News tried contacting the minister, believed to be in the video, but calls to his mobile phone went unanswered. The communications minister also could not be reached for comment. We then contacted their boss, Prime Minister Kamala Persad-Bissessar, and she said she would not be able to comment until she saw the video.
What? Say that again?
And you're correct. There's something very bad happening. So I need to see if I can respond, okay?
Yes, okay.
Sure you appreciate that.
Yes, of course, yeah. Do you recall what I told is on the video?
Please tell me again.
Do you recall what did I say was on the video?
Would you kindly respond again and tell me?
Oh, you don't. But I told you 4 times. You don't remember?
What can I do? Ask you to send it to me. Will you kindly send it to me?
Yes, I will, Madam Prime Minister, certainly. I'll do that in the morning.
Now this story takes us to tonight's People Meter. We ask, do you think the Prime Minister will fire another cabinet minister?
To vote, you can text yes or no to the number 4226. We'll bring you the results at the end of this newscast.
There were 3 high-profile government scandals that all occurred within the space of a little over a month from mid-March to April, resulting in 2 of the 3 ministers involved, Chandra Sharma and Glenn Ramadar Singh, vacating office. The third, Dalman Baker, has...
Yeah, that was back in 2010-15. So my Vinci cousin, I wonder if you understand who you're taking info from. Look at this from the Vinci cousin.
It is official. Anal Roberts would not be contesting the 2025 general elections. He made a deal with the bat for his lover, Ria Kareem, daughter of Faisal Kareem, to contest the Chadwana's East seat. Faisal was sacked and disgraced by Kamla and replaced by Duckfoot Mohit. How does Ria feel to know that the same UNC humiliated her father? I guess that morals and ethics has a price after all.
That is why Vinci doesn't want to take info about and they come in and keep coming. They better be careful they end up in lawsuit and all kind of thing. Remember continues. Listen to Faris Alwari, opposition senator.
Now what Minister Roberts did is quite shocking. He is a minister of government with sensitive personal information. Go to the Data Protection Act. Sensitive personal information, including financial information, is sensitive under law. You're not allowed to disclose that information. It's why when you go to a bank or a financial institution processing, your information is kept in confidence. And what really should be the focus here is, are you comfortable that your personal information could be on a platform, worse yet, on some program called Polorian something or whatever he's called himself? When you look at this thing and you see media houses reporting Polorian juice or whatever his program is called, you have to ask yourself, are you confident that you're in the right hands with a government minister leaking, weaponizing sensitive personal information, in this case concerning a prime minister of a regional leader, a long-time prime minister of long pants standard, Ralph Gonsalves, a friend to Trinidad and Tobago for decades? Are you satisfied with that? And where is the condemnation in respect of that? Today, Ralph Gonsalves and his family. Tomorrow, Urvashi Tiwari and her family. Are you good with that? That should be condemned openly.
Yeah, when they came, because they didn't bother all, nobody is saying nothing. And when they come for you, and they spin wrong, everybody got nobody to stand up with you. So my Vinci cousin, who make the video and feel you get something, Miss Lady, you get nothing. And if all want to make all the decisions in Vincent based on that, to go and do all whatever, who don't hear us feel, and Hopefully it end up like in Trinidad and Tobago, where people now they shame and embarrass they vote for the UNC. But they ain't want to say nothing. So let me continue. Now, these things have far-reaching consequences, and everybody feels these things that you get something called diplomacy. Wars are stopped with diplomacy. Business deal could collapse because of lack of diplomacy. Diplomacy is what is used in the international space, whether in politics and business, dealing with people, whatever it is. It's not no rabbit dog behavior. I will tell you who is the rabbit dogs and then just now. So November the 17th, this was in Trinidad Express. It said CARICOM diplomatic order under strain. Prime Minister of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Dr. Ralph Gonzalez, has warned that CARICOM diplomatic order is under its most serious strains in decades. After a Trinidad and Tobago minister publicly confronted him in a way regional officials say bypassed every formal channel for communication between member states. The unprecedented exchange occurred entirely outside CARICOM. Formal machinery has stirred deep unease in the region, with some diplomats cautioning that such departure from established protocol risk undermining the community's long-standing framework for preventing public deterioration and relations among member governments. The controversy escalated after Trinidad and Tobago Minister in the Ministry of Housing, Annie Roberts, via his Doubles and Coffee social media platform, questioned the legitimacy of housing purchases by Gonzalez's wife and two children in Trinidad and Tobago. In a widely circulated record, Roberts referred to the Vincentian leader as a big belly star general, while suggesting that Gonzalez's recent criticism of Trinidad and Tobago's interpretation of CARICOM's zone of peace doctrine may have been influenced by real estate gains his family allegedly secured. In an interview with the Sunday Sun on Friday, Gonzalez said the conduct of the minister fell well outside attempted norms. This is unprecedented, where a junior minister is cursing and verbally abusing the prime minister of another country, Gonzalez said. In my 64 years of electoral politics, I have never seen anything like this in the Caribbean, not once. He, however, stressed that St. Vincent and the Grenadines would maintain its commitment to orderly regional relations. When it comes to governmental relations, my administration will operate with maturity. This is a non-negotiable. That is non-negotiable, he said. Barbados Ambassador to CARICOM, David Commission, also underscored the seriousness of the breach, noting that the matter touched the core of Caribbean's diplomatic architecture. Commission said CARICOM's strength has always relied on strict adherence to protocol. CARICOM is a well-structured organization. At the top, we have the Conference of Heads of Government, prime ministers and presidents speaking to each other. Below that, we have Ministerial Council, foreign ministers, ministers of education, health, and so on. The council knows their place, the leadership knows its place. Equals speak to equals, the ambassador said. Warning that sidestepping these structures invite instability, he said. If the proper protocols are respected, we do not have problems. But when someone bypasses these protocols, when communication intended for formal channel is issued publicly, informally in a way inconsistent with the structure that creates miscommunication and confusion. And frankly, the language used in this case is unprecedented. I cannot recall anything in my life in the modern history of CARICOM. Political scientist Peter Wickham described the situation as the most serious challenge to CARICOM diplomatic norms since the West Indies Federation. We would need to go back to the Federation to find this kind of nasty discourse in the public domain, he said. He characterized the remarks as mud throwing rather than policy scrutiny and cautioned that Prime Minister cannot predecessor endorsement risk deepening the impression of diplomatic breakdown. This should have been a diplomatic conversation, but that is not happening, he said. He described Roberts as a loose cannon whose approach was entirely inappropriate for interstate communication. I'm nearly finished, but it's important I read this whole thing. Wickham added that CARICOM was unlikely to intervene formally. Once CARICOM steps in, it brings the institution down to the level of Anna Roberts, but the silence speaks volumes. Every head in the region understands this is not how CARICOM business is done, he said. Matters intensify when Kasabi Sessa publicly supported a minister, describing his claims as legitimate concerns about the Victoria Keys transaction. Gonzal has rejected allegations, outright calling them defamatory, entirely wrong, and a breach of privacy. He stressed that his wife, Trinidadian by birth, and his children, who hold Trinidad passports, were entitled to conduct business with the state housing agency. These were arm length transactions. He said, my family did not get any special advantage. My wife is Trinidadian, my children are Trinidadian citizens. Excuse me. They engage the agency in a normal way in which any Trinidadian citizens would be said. He said that one of the Victoria Keys unit was obtained through a rent-to-own arrangement that was plagued with delays and structural problems, not privilege. It was a terrible situation. The unit was leaking, it was flooding, it had plumbing features. It took them 5 years to fix, he said. That alone gives the lie to any idea that they received preferential treatment. They actually bought it at a higher price than those now being offered to the public. Gonzalez insisted that he had no involvement in the transaction. Let the record show I never contacted anyone in the government of Trinidad and Tobago about this matter. These were dealt with entirely by my family members and by relatives in Trinidad. Nothing unethical, nothing improper, nothing illegal. The dispute is unfolding as CARICOM continues reaffirming its zone of peace designation, supported by 13 member states and the community of Latin American and Caribbean states. Trinidad and Tobago has argued that domestic criminal activity undermines the designation. Gonzalez dismissed the argument. If you broaden the concept to include non-state actors, then no country in the world would qualify. I want to tell Dr. Gonzalez that the behavior of Annie Roberts ain't nothing new. Them just go down in the gutter, they stink. They have nothing about them. They have no class, they have no ethic, nothing. And it are 3 rabid dogs that are sent out. The Anel and the Naked and the Philip. Rabid dog, dirty, stinking dogs. Them is not mad. Woman so don't stay with them. Woman will not stay with them. A woman might run into them and run out the same way because they might have nothing. They empty. Them so-called they have no class. That's all I can say, no class. So Dr. Gonzalez, do expect nothing. It could get worse. But you know the truth, your family know the truth, and the thing is, Miss Eloise have brothers who live in Trinidad. So it's not like it's a stranger, but at the end of the day, if you as a minister saw something looked unethical as the oh gosh, one of them men and them are just Wickham, Mr. Wickham said, there are channels to deal with those things. But all they want to come out of that is what all it does do. All they want to get a woman to say she had children, she have some daughter for Mr. Manning. All they want to take a policeman from India, put it up and say that Dr. Rowley wife with him and horning Dr. Rowley. Mr. Fitzgerald has as minister at the time, down in the bags with the horse and thing, the little boy in front of me, because he said the little boy didn't want to get on the horse unless he get on the horse. So which part on that horse he could have sit down quiet this one, the boy sit down quiet this one. He ride there with it, or let's start about the rubbing up on the little boy. All of that Vanilla Allen up in that dirty, stinking woman to go in parliament. She know Dr. Rowley of them from Tobago and lie and say Dr. Rowley is a rapist, he's a pedophile. Dr. Mudila put up signs saying keep each other away from Rowley, and it goes on and on and on. So Dr. Gonzalez, that's how they are. They stink and dirty, nasty individual. Can't keep a man. I want to ask, what is the stance on domestic abuse? So let me continue. So All I watch this.
Good morning, Minister. My name is Jason. I'm the Managing Director of Get my number, Minister. As well, Minister.
Well, I know.
Where's
Good morning. How are you, sir? Good morning, sir. You all right? Good morning. Pierre, good morning. Nice to meet you. Morning, morning. Good morning. Mr. Roberts is my father. Good morning.
Good morning, Minister. Managing Director.
Yeah. Welcome. Welcome again, man. Good morning. Yeah.
All right, I'll take it off. That was HGC workers. Let me tell you, I watched that. And I feel so sad for them workers and them. When a minister coming in a ministry, you don't have to line up in no long line and go and all kind of thing and all kind of thing to introduce him. He made the permanent secretary has a department, and then after they make him walk around in the departments and you think whatever. Not only make line for who ugly Philip Alexander and David Lee. Well, I didn't see Philip Lee, but drunken Arnold, I say drunken based on the video I show. Guy would have make things about, I'm the agency workers now, they're getting sent home. All that what they do. The only thing they do is drop to the ground, prostrate and the bouncy up in the air. What all you have to do all this time that for? Sit down in your office at the heads of the department and then go and meet the minister and them could shake and who and all kind of thing. And then after, they will walk the minister around to the different departments, accounts, this one, that one, and tell everybody, staff, the minister, thing, whatever. Nobody making no long lines. All they do all that. All they do all that in the HDC and they're firing all here. And where Felicia Thomas? Because here some of this is PSM member. What's Felicia Thomas? She hiding, she said, and she was going to make video to come to talk to the members and what's happening because the CPO said he will meet the last week in November. Where the video up to now? I tell her there's 4% on the table. That is not what they tell her when they was going around. They said 10%. Where she to go and help HGC workers who get fired every day after they make line and clap and sing song and all kind of. Why all the African people has put all themselves through them thing, boy? That ain't gonna make people like all they know. It will make people disrespect all them more. Stand for something, man. Look all they get fired and sent home. All that line, all they make it a vex. Because all them no right to do them thing. The minister come to the HR department, go and meet him. Let the heads of the department meet him. Ever all have to line up in a line so and clapping and all kind of thing. And still, all the backside getting sent home. So what's the sense? You think shaking his hand go make him like all you? Them don't like nobody. Them had black. They don't even like the blasted cells. Or expect them to like all it, or let us start to like and love all themselves. A real vex for that one. Then this ugly one coming to talk about, oh, yes, neglect with houses. Look, ugly. Look the ugly ass, eh? Yes, I say it. Yeah? We don't want to put doctor in front of him. He's not a blasted doctor. He got an honorary doctorate from some university somewhere and some kind of thing. Yeah? Talking about he has a neglect with houses. Or they come and meet houses. David Lee, a party come and meet houses in 2010 to 15 at Mr. Madden and the piano was billing. Or they leave all of them right there. All they don't care about people. All they care about all their self, all their friends and family. And Dr. Vishnu Bishram said it right. I'm going to read it over what he said again. Me even reading this article. They leave all the houses there to rot down and then give out none. They didn't finish build. The only thing they focus on was Victoria Keys. Because down in the West and high rise. And they changed it into a luxury apartment. And that's because HGC plays on the open market to make back money. Because them houses, no poor person, no ordinary public servant, no woman from CPEP or man from CPEP or URP or working in a store or working in some place could have buy them house. Or they vex because 3 Trinidadians buy the house and the apartment and they mean so they're sick and had that rabbit dog, that drunk rabbit dog talking about people. Die people? Come now, man. Come now, man. Or they better than that. Or they better than that. Let me move on. Let me move on. I see some man being owed money in Tobago. Yeah, and all. Look, let me just play it for you because one thing we going on over and let me get Tobago. They play. How much minutes here? Alright, gonna play.
After I collected the $20,000, I called Mr. Fally immediately and I said, Fally, this is all the money that you will have to give me. He said, how much money you get? I said, 20,000. He said, nah, you have to get more money than that. Okay, he said, I'm calling you back. He made his call. And after he called me back in half an hour, and sent me down to Trinidad to collect an additional $40,000.
Mr. Jordan spoke to TV6 News outside the official residence of the Chief Secretary, where he claims he visited on several occasions to collect monies owed after being contracted by the PDP for his advertising services via vehicles provided and radio advertisements.
This is not fair. So he would tell me, come. Okay, the very first time I met with him, he asked me to come here and I waited. I came here about 7 o'clock. It was only until about 10 o'clock in the night, somebody came out and handed me an envelope and gave me $10,000.
Mr. Jordan said he has since been evicted and has faced some of his equipment repossessed due to non-payment from Mr. Augustine, who at the time communicated with him on behalf of the PDP.
Oh God, it's humiliating, and I guess, and I want the nation to know that this is not any political victimization. This is me just trying to get my money.
He says all he wants is his money and claims a pre-action protocol letter sent to Chief Secretary Fally Augustine in March has not been responded to. A receipt of $20,000 in payment on November 3rd of 2021 was also shown to us. TV6 News questioned the Chief Secretary and TPP leader Fally Augustine on the matter. Mr. Augustine told TV6 News he can only speak to the operations of the Tobago People's Party TPP.
Fitzroy Jordan, he's claiming that over $700,000 is owed to him from advertising with respect to the PDP, now TPP.
There's no PDP, now TPP. There is TPP and there is PDP. Any arrangements made with PDP and made through the political leader there, that's PDP's business. That has nothing to do with me. The moment PDP decided that I was no longer going to be a deputy political leader, it means that I had no responsibility for anything that the party is contractually obligated to.
PDP leader Watson Duke, when asked to comment on the monies owed to Mr. Jordan by the PDP, confirmed he knows Mr. Jordan very well, as he was contracted to provide services to the PDP. Whatever arrangements I made with Fitzroy Jordan, I paid him. He was paid his money with a witness. He came and collected his money. I only contract him for one thing, was to provide 2 to 3 music trucks. Everyone who worked for us was paid for their music vehicles at that time. Whatever monies was owed to him was paid to him. He sat there, he collected his money, and signed for his money. Elizabeth Williams.
Always a drama and a background with you condemn and money thing. And the beat goes on and on. We will see how that goes. So I saw the Honorable Minister of Homeland Security. I think he was at a passing out ceremony, if I'm not mistaken. The police intake would have done the training. And is he? If it's not he, some one of them, some next one of them, I don't want to misquote anybody or anything, saying that crime is down. And I also heard him, I think I mentioned that they are the support America and all that. And again, I'm saying, that's why I'm only getting on in this kind of way and ain't care about nobody and all that. America, I'm not true member, you know. All they know important America, you know. Just like how some other man does use woman, make them feel or they love them, or vice versa. Give all kind of sweet talk, whether man give woman sweet talk or woman give man sweet talk and make you feel is the best in the world. And you this and that, and as soon as they get the punky or they get a thing, whoever it is, they gone and left you there and you thought, and he loved me and he told me and he promised me. Or you get on like that one who is the lawyer for the government. It is alleged. It is alleged he get on, eh? He out there and you. It is alleged. Me don't know that papa, me know the people business. It is alleged. But I know it has some man get home, papa, and I had him turn up. But the point I was making is this dependence that the UNC have on the America, that America will save them. As I was making the analogy, I'll say it again. Like a man when he want to get the punky, he ain't want no relationship with the woman, you know. He want that punky because she looking good. And you say all kind of thing, tracking for days, bring this, that, You say, oh God, I mean, now they want to difference of body sweet girl, this and kept me out of there. And as soon as he gets this, that punky gone. And he can't understand why. That's why America was operating. Get tired. America is for America first. And especially with this president here, will make America white again, great again. All they get up, always considered minorities in the eye. Whether you're Indian, you're African, you're considered minority. So can't be says, so you fool all yourself. Keep fooling all yourself. So, yes. So we're saying that crime is down and thing. We have a SOE. That alone should whatever. But during this SOE, every single day, you hear about some unfortunate incident. So I don't understand that we can't get the crime stats and something when nobody's the system, some back and as well. But listen, look at this. And this family, I hope this family get whatever hell that family get, because it's a very horrific thing. But crime is down.
Yeah, just keep pointing at it.
Yeah. Say crime and stone. This young lady here going to put up, I saw it. on, I think it's the Ann Allen page, so it's based on that. This young lady here, I think the family say she missing and all that. I understand that she said she left home to escape abuse by the mother and father. She wanted a better life to live, and she get out there to make she living by herself. She says she not with no man and all that, by herself to continue her studies and all that thing. But the abuse she was getting, she had to leave. I want to tell the sister, stay safe, darling, and you made a good decision if you're in a situation that you've been abused to get out of it and don't stay, because we just hear these stories. We just come out of that when you all stay in those situations. So I'm very happy that she was able to come and clarify the situation. She's safe and she's handling her own stories, no man involved. She wants to do better. She can't take the abuse at home. So I see Suraj Ratan Rambachan put up a post. How would you describe the state of the economy at this point in time? What are you seeing, hearing, feeling? Are people optimistic, scared, doubtful about the future? And he answered your own question. He asked in a post he put up here. What you say? I ask this question because of what I am seeing and hearing. Hardwares are complaining of a drop in business, some as much as 30%. Cement sales by TCL was reported as lower than 2025 thus far. Was reported as lower in 2025 thus far. I meet a lot of persons whose contract in the public service and state companies have not been renewed. Lots of Venezuelans who worked in construction are coming around looking for work. Appliance stores have started Xmas sale much earlier, and other stores not known for massive discount sales are joining the discounted sale culture. Mortgages foreclosures are on the rise, and advertisement for the whereabouts of persons who have outstanding loans have increased. Does all of this mean that the economy is stagnant? Only groceries seem to be flourishing, which means that disposable income is low and that income is being spent on essentials. What's your view? Well, Mr. Rambachan, you answer the question. It is bleak. It is bleak. I'm glad only come out and talk, because under the People's National Movement, they never put up nothing so big because the economy was running. CPEP workers was working, URP workers was working, reforestation workers was working, HDC workers was working, contracted worker was working. The thing that running nice, the money may be a little small, but the economy was running good. Tong used to have people selling and buying. Shogunas used to have people selling and buying. San Fernando used to have people selling and buying. It ain't had nothing now. I get some report from the Southland. People complaining there's shame now. They ain't have money, they ain't have work. The bakery, they have a bakery down in South, they don't get nothing sell. The place in a total mess, but some are Indian, they send freight to come out and talk it as it is. They're talking behind the hand. And them who was with the code is yellow and whatever, the shame. But they're suffering because them used to sit down. Me and say them people in particular, I talk about in general. They were saying in this country they're suffering under Dr. Rowley. They're suffering. Things hard. He's a dictator. He's a tyrant. But every Monday morning they used to be protesting and they never get locked up. They never get drummed. They call him monkey. They call him ugly. They call him this. They put his head on feces all on Facebook. They call him Bobby head, all that. He never do nothing ever. He run the country. Now we can't say nothing. All they say suffering, I never said I was suffering. All who said I was suffering, probably all they go see what suffering is about. I don't know. I just saying. But things was better under the PNM. And all they know that, but all they shame to say that, because all they will feel that all they betraying all the Indian people. Is that what we show? About betraying Indian people when in reality hitting your children can't go to school, they can't get money to think. Must be more abuse going on in the house, so must be getting more cut ass now in the house. More child abuse must be going on. Children must be getting beat up, thump up, all kind of thing. When they say, Mommy, I'm hungry. I don't want to eat, Mommy, I'm hungry. And slap up the children ass because you're frustrated. Or they know them things that's happen. But they say nothing. Or they won't say nothing. If a Dr. Rowley that fired 10,500 CPAP workers, the place would have been a mess all now. And 50,000 workers, all they that have mouth for Dr. Rowley. All they had mouth for Dr. Rowley and the PNM. All they had no mouth. Not for the UN. See what kind of thing they're doing on here. Just when they go start around filtering their mouth and tell us, oh, it's ice cream. And they go, just like how Philip Alexander, they said our PNN do it. Guys, what UNC doing now? Robin filtering people's mouth. And they go, it's ice cream. All this, sir. All this, sir. All who encourage people to go and vote for UNC and go vote for PNM. Go beyond all there, yes, Papa. All they have to deal out. All they have to deal out, that deal out. So let me continue. So I see the chairman, Gopi Singh, talking about squandermania in the NCHRA. Widespread corruption and fiscal mismanagement at the North Central Regional Health Authority resulted in hundreds of millions of dollars being spent on contracts without transparency or proper tendering processes. May read it no more. I want to ask the Honorable Ting Gopi Singh, the gynecologist, if he was he the Minister of Health? Is he was Minister of Health? Or he was on the board or something? Anyway, you're talking about squandermania in what? Just now. Widespread squandermania in NCRHA. Mr. Gopi Singh, you remember in NWRHA, like Northwest Regional Health Authority, when there wasn't paying the workers' national insurance? Do you remember that? I know about it personally, you know how? Because income tax, this will be on Queen Street. Send a letter to my husband and say he owing health surcharge. So when he showed me the letter, I say, how you can owe health surcharge and not coming out your salary? Well, I is the woman of business, you know me. I go down in the morning. I go down Queen Street, I think I'm going. I showed them the letter, I said, listen, how could my husband be owing health surcharge? That will come out your salary before you get your salary? They say, well, yes. I say, well, okay. They say, I'll bring his whole pay record. I come home and tell them. He get it from NWHR, Northwest Regional Health Authority. A whole big sheet. So I went back with it again because I take over the business. And it showed all the payments for how much is coming out, and it showed that did not pay NIS coming out. But when they make the call, ting, NIS paying. I asked that question that wasn't racket and corruption back under UNC. I just asked that question because then I had was to fine, because if an employer don't pay NIS national insurance contribution for the worker, they are fined $250,000 and some other things. So you're talking about RHA and corruption and all kind of thing. Look back to when all they created the RHAs. When Ministry of Health was running things, it just had a lot of problems with it, but nothing like all the RHAs and them is sometimes. Or let us say the best RHA, I think this is Sandy Grandy and this man David. Something is in my name, I can't remember right one. So go look all them places. But I want to ask you if you remember this situation is a post by, it is a piece by Rafiq Shah, November the 18th, 2021. And it spoke to, let me see. He said, during my 27-month stint as a prisoner of the state, there was a universal saying amongst guests at Her Majesty's prison, as the institution was known then. That is Rafiq Shah, because he had made some jail with the 1970 Black Power Revolution. If you must make a jail do it while you're young. Of course, other hardened criminals or stupid persons who had never been inside a cell would, in moments, they would live to regret and scream, jail and make to rape, jail and make to right figure. The consensus, though, was that prison was no place for decent citizens and certainly not for older people. The conditions are so brutal, or they have to forgive me, I have to open it out because it's real fine. But the young and strong have to steal themselves to survive. And for the old, the haven of the infirmary does not insulate them from the hellhole that is jail. I got around to looking about my one-time home following the recent arrest of several high flyers in society, and in particular former senior managers at the Northwest Regional Health Authority. I knew that even though they had only been arrested and charged, and guilt of innocence is yet to be determined, nothing in their lives would have prepared them for what they would have experienced over the past days. For starters, the simple process of being fingerprinted and charged is humiliating. I can only imagine Dr. Ting Singh, Dr. Ranjit Sugar, and Reynold McCann having their hands in the firm grips of officers who would rub their fingers on the ink pad and then transfer the prints onto their files. Mugshots will have been taken, then the charges formally made against them. I needed no more. So when Dr. Tim Gopi Singh talking about corruption and things, I want him to remember what happened at the Northwest Regional Health Authority, and I just give you all a real life incident at the Northwest Regional Health Authority under his tenure, and the other doctors and them they talk about it. So let me see how that goes. They say this is what old people say, not me. A thief don't never like to see teeth with long bag. So let me continue. So I see that they a batch of baby milk. I hope everybody getting news by now. And if they have it in their possession, they throw it away. And if they give the baby to ever take a child to a doctor, the hospital or something, right? So the Ministry of Health today warned parents about an international alert for by heart whole nutrition baby formula, even though the product is not listed for sale in Trinidad and Tobago. Just in case all the family send it for or whatever, is by heart whole nutrition infant formula. Go up and look it up, see what it looks like, and make sure that all they don't have it. If all they have it, all they give all the child to drink, whoever carry a child, doctor, hospital immediately, and get rid of everything. Yeah? Let me continue. So the nursing staff at the nursing association, because you know this government going to open back Cuba to an hospital. You know they have to. They ain't opening this cell block in Port of Spain General. They ain't opening that. We're done finished. Because it's in Port of Spain, not St. Anne's West. Member of Parliament security is a PNM constituency. They ain't opening it. But they focus on Cuba, Children's Hospital to prove a point. Well, the Nurses Association up in the Bam Bam. Let them know. Pulling staff from all over. They ain't go work. I'm looking for the exact article, and I can't have it. But I had it. I probably deleted by mistake while I'm doing some stuff. Just a minute. Let me see. Right. No. Right. Yes. Right here. How I take. Now I must look once and twice and three times. So the Nursing Association, well, it is 23 hours now, 23 hours then. Well, I forgot, my mouth dry, I should drink some water. This is the Guardian. The Nursing Association has raised concerns over the government plan to open the Hoover Children's Hospital, warning that the move could place additional strain on the country's healthcare system. The association, which has been active in healthcare advocacy for more than 15 years, called on policymakers to prioritize staff retention, professional training, and primary healthcare. In a Facebook post, the association highlighted staffing and expertise challenges in the sector. It noted that there have been no recorded instances of children being denied care or bed at the Wendy Fitzwilliams Children's Hospital, at the Eric Williams Medical Complex, or at the pediatric unit in San Fernando and San Ivani Hospital. On Sunday, Hoover South MP Barry Paradat announced that the Hoover Children's Hospital is expected to receive its first intake of young patients in the coming week. Now, them don't care if that's a drag children from wherever. There's the Wendy Fitzwilliams Children's Hospital. There's a children's hospital, also pediatric hospital, and also for neonatal, Port of Spain General. That is San Fernando. I think it have it probably in Randy. There's no shortage of bed. So it's a rush to carry children down in Hoover. And all in has staff, and we'll be pulling staff from all over. Well, all them, again, we'll see confusion near Bacchanal. I want to show that they open it, but they can't open the West Wing. Port of Spain General will have 500 and something beds that the people of Port of Spain, North, St. Anne's West, and environs in the East-West corridor will be able to utilize. Nah, Rowdy built that. That went on steady for 5 years. And people just silent. I want to talk to my sister, Mrs. Beverly Ramsey. This is a woman I admire greatly. She come in as the president of Trinbago, and she has been working the steel band fraternity finally had peace. But I want to tell you under the UNC that peace will be short-lived. Because Ms. Ramsey Moore, they come in for the steel band. They come in for steel pan, they come in for carnival, they come in for anything that African people are part of. So Ms. Ramsey Moore said in The Guardian just recently that she's the president of Trinbago, as I said, that the organization had to provide financial support to several steel pan participating in the single pan competition, as bands have not yet received funding, government funding. The preliminaries began on November the 12th. Our bands are ready despite the challenges, because normally before every competition, bands will receive their assistance fee to mobilize and get ready. But because of our resilient spirit, they were all ready to go, she said. In the steel band world, there's no such thing as do when prepared. Setting up racks. In the steel band world, there's so much to do when prepared. Setting up racks, tuning pans, and all that. So a small fee is normally given to every band to assist in mobilization. Speaking with Guardian Media by phone from Tobago, where that leg of the competition is currently underway, Ramsey Moore said the National Carnival Commission, of which she is a member, is working closely with Minister of Culture and Community Development, Michelle Benjamin, to ensure that funding is released soon. She noted that the national budget debate concluded a month ago. The delays was expected. We have provided support for those that were down, and we really look forward to the release so that we can move on smoothly, she stated. And she said some other stuff. Right? NGC, National Gas Company, that used to sponsor, I think, about 16 steel bands, if I'm not mistaken, they stopped funding. Who is the chairman? Gerald Ramdeen. Who is Gerald Ramdeen? Of the Prison Gate fame. And Ramdeen, by the surname, you know, is Indian. I've been real with all them. They cut the funding. So it might have steel band who can't take part in Panama this year. And because the noise pollution, people love to say, who have appreciated for the steel pan, and the history of the steel pan as well is noise. Miss Ramsey Moore, how is the property down at Rice Road going? Because you know you ain't getting that, you ain't getting no money to help you build that. If it was to house the TASA, you'd have get money. I give it my opinion. So the drunk racist prime minister of this country, Kamala Persad, in a post said, because she has now become, in my opinion, an executive prime minister. She don't need to come in person no more, just send a tweet. She following Donald Trump pattern and behavior to a T. If there's one thing she could copycat good. So I wonder if she's a copycat in school too. Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago. On Monday, I instructed the Attorney General and the Minister of Sports to implement an immediate ban on the hosting of all fests at the Hazy Crawford Stadium and the GP complex. But you know, I understand the upper class, them get the place booked to have a carnival on that dome and all them kind of thing. The ones who just put away from we because like we black go rub off on the skin. When that carnival is we own, I hear them get down there to use to have a carnival as usual. But then they're talking about Dr. Raleigh to facilitate and thing up to the 1%. Exceptions will be granted not only for events taking place from the Thursday before Carnival, Monday and Tuesday, until the Saturday after. Additionally, all fests and parties booked at Ministry of Sports facilities may begin no later than 12 noon and must end promptly at 10 p.m. The NCC has also been directed to engage experienced acoustic engineers to properly design sound systems at their venues, ensuring that noise and vibrations from these events are effectively minimized for neighboring communities. As we move forward, my government remains committed to balancing culture and community well-being, protecting our traditions while safeguarding the peace of our citizens. Together, we will build a more respectful, responsible, and harmonious Trinidad and Tobago apartheid. In my opinion. They come in at the carnival. Who and that drunk racist prime minister made the decision that she made there, who she consulted with. She consulted with the Fet Promoters Association, the Steel Pan movement, anybody at all. That was telling her she coming for carnival. The carnival is noise, music truck is noise, then would just have it on noise. I don't see the Woodbrook resident come out and them one thing banned from wrong day. Other residents go start to come out too and talk about noise. You're going to be having a little party and they go call the drunk racist prime minister, somebody, police, and say, your music disturbing. So we be a silent society, and only when it have festivals for Indian celebration, you go hear noise. But anything when African people partaking and giving no opinion, they're stopping all that. And yet all is silent. Crickets, where it was Dr. Rowley that put up that sign and ball no fet in none of the sporting facilities, and it had to start 12 and then promptly a Ting, and you ban it and you chuck your age. Hey, all it would have been costing Rowley all over Facebook. All it would have been coming out on the street and saying he's a tyrant and dictator. Like when they give all it to Rob all you eat. Nothing. Or is it people are saying, well, that don't interest me because I don't like carnival. I just go to my church camp. And when the carnival come, I can't stand the carnival. Those women with the breasts outside and the bikinis and the lewd behavior. It's good that they stop that. And go watch the bigger picture. When they come for the Jews, I said nothing, I was not Jew. When they come for the Unionists, I said nothing, I was not Unionist. They come for the Christian, I said nothing, I was not Christian, and go on and on. And when they come for me, I had nobody. So let's sit down there, bro. It's good because I don't like that loud noise in the head and the so scandalous and the behaviors. And who does make children after, as Ralph Barat say, with the dirty, stinking, rum-looking, dry, cringing self, like rum cure him, that's my opinion. But after carnival, you know, like African people, we just go behind the bush and all kind of thing and have sex and then make child after. That is what, in my opinion, he was saying. So they say that. So, as it would be a strain of the economy and the thing, and not studying the vendors, the DJs, who had children and who had family. Some of them is only one family. Who does run the music truck? If the music truck is only African people, plenty of the Indian have music truck. All they just have DJing work and all kind of thing. All that go done. All them used to be on radio and praising Kamala Besabi says her and the government against Dr. Rowley. He's a tyrant. Who is blasted tyrant now because she cutting into all the DJ money? If you can't have set or you can't play for carnival and carnival is seasonal, just make all the dollars from fete to fete to fete. What you say now? Nothing. Oh, she's a nice woman. She's a mother. Long time my mother used to say mother. Hey. Hey! That is mother. But while all that happening, and they're stopping everything, in my opinion, as African descent, the Indian High Commissioner has established an Indian corner at the Library of the Parliament, featuring a curated collection of 351 books covering topics such as Indian polity, diplomacy, economics, history, culture, and the arts. The exhibition is envisioned as a resource center for parliamentarians and parliamentarian staff, providing access to literature that deepens understanding of Indians' democratic and cultural landscape. And you have this piece of filth who call himself professor, who would have said back in the day before he drink the juice and get position, he get a board position, Central Bank and some other place on car where he could get free flights or whatever now. In the days when he didn't get nothing, here we see. History will record that an Indian government built the first detention camp in our country, thereby initiating the first stage of making Afro-Trinidadians a permanent underclass. In years to come, many of the enablers will weep at having assisted the People's Partnership in their diabolic design against Black people selling Kojo. That piece of filth. But today, right up under the same people who you talk about what? The diabolical design against Black people by building the first detention camp in our country, thereby making Afro-Trinidadians a permanent underclass. Where you to talk with the African corner in the parliament, with the Chinese corner in the parliament, with the Syrian Lebanese corner in the parliament. Is this an Indian country and an Indian state? I just asking. Apartheid. It coming, just like the IMF. It coming. All this sit down and waiting to get ill-gotten gains by somebody who are running in a sovereign country to do regime change so all they could get the people gas. All they love the thief our. That's in all the DNA. I just asked you, all of the thief. Eh? All of the thief our. I just asking a question because I don't get it. That is not all your own. But all you waiting, salivating. For one sovereign country to come down from wherever them is in Caribbean waters and bigging them up for wanting to. That's where everything you didn't, I'm thinking, not me saying so, running our next sovereign country. That all they can, and change the elected president. But who they want so that Kamala Persad-Bisa said this drunk racist prime minister and she government could get Venezuela gas. That's how it does be. Thiefing and all the DNA, asking again. Is thiefing and some all the DNA? Is that something that come down? Asking a question, through indentation, because remember the conditions Dalits was living in India where they had to come here and I'm happy they come to make a better life because that condition was nice, Hunger, poverty, no money, no work, scavenging. picking up filth on the street, dealing with body fluids, which is taboo. In India, in Hinduism, that some of like that still God, man. All the ancestors come here for to do better. Make all the here so they have a better thing in life. Or they hold on to what they leave in India still. Just hungry, or they're hungry, poverty, you have money, but you want more, and you want more. You have some food, but you want everybody food to eat instead. You see that person that you want that, you want that. That's the signs of people who grow up in deep poverty. Or they hold on to that still, all the ancestors come and make it big, all they still they have all the money in this country, all the economy and this and the business, all that. And why some others going greedy. So asking a question. Look, man. Whatever insecurities all they have about all their self, all they deal it out, you know. All they like to tell African people about where we come from and how we belly big so and running around in the bush with spear and all kind of thing. Which we know is not a true reflection of Africa. And we slave men and slave mentality and the whip mentality and all them kind of thing all they love to say. All they always know everything about African history and what we went through. All they don't talk about the history for enslavement, though. All they don't talk about that history, though. But you know, they like to talk about all the recent history, 1845, and what they and great-grandmother come from. All they want to talk about that. All they want to talk about the fact that all they was internalized. All they excuse and take it out on one another, the most brutal against one another. All they want to talk about the alcoholism in the community, or the incest in the community, or the abuse in the Indian community. All they want to talk about that. All they want to talk about the classism and colorism in the African community, in the Indian community, I mean. Because they have Indians who dark like me. They don't get treated well, you know. Them light-skinned ones does get first preference. Is that why they're loving up Kamala's one like she's a god because she has a little color and thing? And there's a theory how some of them get colored sweat. Some of them, it is alleged, is bleaching the skin. And some of them is alleged they went with high-color people so they could make high-color children. I just think it is alleged. I'm seeing here that the EPA, that is the Estate Police Association, say they're being punished for not joining the coalition of interests. That way the president claiming that because this government want to offer them some 2% for some period and all that. So they say that. So it look like, based on what the man say, I could assume they come and ask him to join Rouge, and then come and ask him to join, and he say no, he want to sort of politics. So he's saying no, he being punished. Well, welcome to TNT. Welcome to the new TNT under this racist prime minister. Once you're black, you will really have to stay in the back if you can push yourself forward. Or let's sit down there. So they're hailing this as if Kamala Persad went and negotiate for this. So Trump left tariffs on fertilizers after high-level talk. High-level talk with who? Trump left the tariff on about 200 countries, the fertilizers, all that, because it affected America, because they need the fertilizer for their farm to grow food. And then getting the fertilizer, then getting food prices rocketing. Kamala Persad will stop fooling people, let's chopping us now, but high-level talk. Or then get a favor done. America make that decision for America because they're suffering with the high food prices because the people who selling the fertilizer can't pay the tariff, it's too expensive, and that drive up everything. Well, shit, all they getting on with like if all they score nothing. So all the other countries where the tariff lift, they gonna come out to and boast. It's not Trinidad and Tobago, we ain't got no favor done. Look now. Or they could just fool some of the people some of the time, all the people, and tell them, yes, rain, is it raining? Is it being on? No, it's rain that is falling. And they're pissing and all the dirty diabetic, piss on hypertension, piss on the STD, piss. And the corruption, piss on the hateful, piss. You know, the eye. And all they say, yes, it's raining. All they're good, yes. Some are all they're good, yes. So if you hear the International Energy Agency and all the chamber and them, all that, And I want to ask if it's because it's an Indian and all this Indian, all this supporting the Indian. I just ask. Because not only talking about the implication of this war, if it have a war, God forbid it have a war, and the effects of that, what will happen to us. All of the focus on dragon gas, or we go get dragon gas. Let me tell you something, I don't watch people think so, and it burn all the eye, or you get cataball. So all of them, oil and gas demand is set to grow, but can TNT supply? We even reading this. 3 Indian. I mean real, or they can sit down there and say I racist. I glad for it. When them talk and whether them are racist, but Jennifer Frederick when she talk I racist, all of them banding together and not coming out and talk the truth. Because all of them is Indian. That's the opinion I give them. Again, I don't say all Indian are BS. It has some Indian, listen. Not some, it has plenty. Excuse me. Not for that kind of living and that cult kind of thing and that tribal thing. They're not in that. Not, unfortunately, they don't talk out enough. So these here, them waiting. Them waiting. It look like for, in my opinion, I give him Trinidad to thief the dragon oil, Venezuela oil. That's the opinion I give him. And when I say thief, I mean in the sense that all they're waiting, the same don't waiting for ill to happen, ill will to happen to the people of Venezuela. The people, not only Maduro, the people who could get hurt, damaged, war-torn state, so that Trinidad and Tobago could get what is their own. All they're good, yes? All they're good. All they're good. Let me look to wrap up. I'll just go a little. So Dr. Raleigh came out and he did a presser. Before I play all of what he said in the presser, here Kamala Pasabi says, she usual style or fear mongering. So listen to what she said. This is something by some Rondo Dowlat senior journalist, some Pinpoint Solution Limited. Prime Minister Kamala Pasabi says has delivered the clearest and most forceful dismissal of yet of statement made by former Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley, calling his press conference nothing to lose sleep over, while stressing that his commentary is based on political desperation rather than fact. Dr. Rowley, like any citizen, has a democratic right to express their opinions, or his opinions, Pasabi said. But facts matter, and the facts expose the reckless misinformation he is spreading. In a sharply worded breakdown, the Prime Minister reminded the population that Rowley himself deeply U.S. TNT military cooperation. Rowley, while completely entranced by former U.S. Ambassador Joseph Mondelo, known as Bond, signed an updated SOFA last year that documents require Trinidad and Tobago to cooperate with the U.S. military training exercise in the region. Those are his signatures, not mine. She said Rowley's attempt to paint TNT as a launchpad for aggression is not only false but dangerous. The United States has never requested to use our territory to launch any attack against the people of Venezuela, she stated. And let me put this beyond debate. Trinidad and Tobago will not, under any circumstances, be used to launch any attack while the Venezuelan people not against the Venezuelan people, not now, not ever. Pasabi Sessa stressed that this government guiding doctrine is sovereignty and independence into submission. But you were in the parliament or you're in opposition, Madam Joan Grace's Prime Minister, when you declared in our parliament that you recognize Guaido as the president of Venezuela, when the Venezuelan people would have voted in an election for President Maduro. So, did you not respect the sovereignty then? The Prime Minister also linked Rowley's comment to realities of regional crime. The country has suffered for decades under the weight of narco trafficking and the free flow of illegal guns, she said. My government will not shy away from working with any international partner committed to dismantling this plague that has destroyed too many of our young people. But she drew a line that cannot be crossed. Our cooperation will never extend to harming the people of Venezuela. And you are a liar. History would have shown that you are a liar, and a liar have no memory. Just like when they were questioning you about the Room 201, and the reporter keep asking, did you hear my question? You ain't remember? You ain't remember? Liars have no memory. For services, and administration continue to champion democratic values in the region. Really. We support the selection of leaders through free and fair election, not intimidation or force. Above all, she reassures citizens that Rowley's insinuation about national danger outright false. Trinidad and Tobago citizens and infrastructure are not at risk, she said. We are not a part of any military plan, any provocation, or any aggression. Rowley's fear-mongering to stay politically relevant, nothing more. The service says the close by reaffirming that our government only interest in Trinidad and Tobago is Trinidad and Tobago interest. Our duty to protect this nation's sovereignty, its people, and its future. That is what guides us, not panic, not propaganda, and certainly not Rowley's political fantasies. That is what this Trump racist prime minister has said. She spoke about Dr. Rowley spreading fear-mongering and about sovereignty and all that. I want you all to listen to this. I may not play the whole thing, but listen.
Designa Grupo de Tarea 10.8. Posicionarse en área Albatros. Probable blanco de superficie hostil.
Oficial de acción táctica de guerra electrónica desconocido 001. Identificado hostil. Y oficial de acción táctica recibido. Comandante de oficial de acción táctica desconocido 001. Identificado hostil.
Comandante recibido. De Rodeo India, comandante en jefe de la Fuerza Armada Nacional Bolivariana, autorizó uso de la fuerza. Se designa formación Dragón, 2 Sukhoi 30 MK2 para apoyar en dicha acción. Y Papa 4 kilos. Proceda, área Zulu.
Alerta roja de superficie. La unidad pasa a condición de alistamiento 1. Rol de combate. Rol de combate, rol de combate, rol de combate.
Look, me playing a mona, like Russia's assets in Venezuela. Oh, boy. Listen to this.
In Caracas, the Venezuelan government is yet to react to the announcement late on Thursday night that the U.S. Department of War is renaming the deployment of aircrafts and warships in the Southern Caribbean as a new Operation Southern Spear. That's the name that the Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth, gave to this deployment that in theory allegedly is meant to stem drug trafficking coming out of Venezuela. But when we spoke with the Venezuelan president earlier on Thursday, he had a different message to send to Donald Trump.
We're focused on the people, governing with peace, with these young people building. To unite for the peace of the continent. No more endless wars, no more unjust wars, no more Libya, no more Afghanistan. My message is yes, peace. Yes, peace.
Now those words are consistent with previous message that Maduro had given to the press and especially here on Venezuelan television, trying to mediate and trying to reach a negotiation with the White House. However, it's important to notice that that was Maduro's first appearance in a non-controlled environment in weeks. And especially he wanted to be seen surrounded by regular people, supporters of the Venezuelan government, and to send a message perhaps to the White House that he is not just ready to bend to the pressure coming out of Washington. For CNN, this is Stefano Pozzebon, Caracas.
Carol Services I talk about all the crime in Trinidad. When she came in, she met a whole security system set up. Men went away to train for the SSA, OPV's building, blimp in the whole coordinated thing. And she get rid of all them things. Listen to this. She said the war is not on sea, it's on land. So how come now she joined with America with war on the sea? I don't understand that. She said the war is not in the sea, it is on land. That's why she get rid of the OPV, the this, the that, whatever. Now she's standing up with America to talk about war in the sea. You want people to believe when you stand up and say, kill them violently, and you agree with what America doing with bombing boats out there that they say, allege, that have drugs and all kind of things, where the crime for narco trafficking is not no execution. You agreeing with all them things, and you're standing with America, all that, and then bowling Dr. Rowley fear-mongering. A woman called me last night, the woman frightened. In fact, I called her because she sent a message to myself, I call her. She frightened and scared. Helicopter only passing, and not normal helicopter, passing dark, round the whole down, so and things, whatever it is. What are doing in Trinidad and Tobago? All they say that it have the US, I don't have no problem with the US and the SOFA and the training and nothing about it. But how come when they ask some high official in the part of the military say he know nothing more that I will read it for the just now. So look at the remember the OPVs, look
these regional efforts. The government has advanced in comprehensive national security agenda that integrates intelligence-led policing, border protection modernization, and legislative strengthening to address illicit arms trafficking. Through the Ministry of Homeland Security, we are pursuing a whole of government and a whole of society approach, one that engages our law enforcement agencies, judicial partners, civil society, and youth networks. We have intensified our participation in Interpol and Caribbean Impact's firearm databases, expanded port and coastal surveillance, and deepened bilateral cooperation to strengthen information sharing and joint operations. Beyond enforcement, we have prioritized prevention. We are working with schools, communities, and faith-based organizations to foster.
I don't hear no more of them lying. I don't hear more of them lying. They get rid of all the OPV and everything, only coming to talk like only everything locked down. If all have everything so locked down and doing this and that, why all they have to team up with the Americans now? I don't understand that. I said a lie. That's all they just do, lie and more lie. They don't know what they're doing. And people tell people wasn't to vote for the PN, and the PN have a good history of management of this country. Let me continue. The minister, this is Lennox Shamshoy. I like to read his stuff, he and Michael Lihani. The Minister of Stupid Foreign Affairs, Sean Sobers, is proven to be more stupid than we expected. The let's put so much words. The hamartia, that is fatal flaw with the UNC regime, and Sean Sobers is that they believe we are all as ignorant as the UNC sycophant supporters. In his attempt to dismiss speculation that the upcoming joint training exercises could lead to war, he confounded the situation when he explained that the training formed part of the government's strategy to ensure the defense force was optimally trained and equipped to address gun crime and gang violence. With an asinine statement from someone who does not know what he's talking about, gun crime and gun violence are under the remit of the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service and not the military. So how in the heavens name a military joint exercise can be used for something that requires a police action? Not because Trump is currently illegally applying such a policy in many Black and Democratic-run cities against the wishes of the mayors and the citizens that we foolishly have to adopt the same nonsense in TNT. By the way, according to a statement later issued by the Minister of Foreign Affairs after Sean Sobers' media release outlining the type of training that will be conducted, it sure sounded like a preparation for war or a possible invasion of Venezuela. However, when asked if the government would support a war if one unfolded between the US and Venezuela, Sobers ducked the question by maintaining that it was speculative. Yet that is the question that is on every citizen's mind. This is yet another example of the UNC government incompetence that is forcing them to adopt MAGA policies that is not only illegal, but totally unsuitable for and not wanted by our country. No matter why no wonder why no one in the government can explain anything to the people on what the hell is going on. Meanwhile, the resistance continues to build as the public counts down the days of the SOE. Right? And she wants me to believe she. Here what has happened. Leonard Stromsag Shamshoy right also. The quote of the day on the TNT Defense Force not having a clue what Operation Southern Spear is all about and do not know what they are training for with the U.S. Joint Training Exercise. The quote of the day comes from the retired Coast Guard Lieutenant Commander Norman Dendial, who is not convinced that the U.S. Marines in Trinidad and Tobago is limited exclusively to training exercises. This is what he said. The optics are not right at all. Combat training at a time when there is a heightened tension between the US and Venezuela and a military buildup in the Caribbean Sea. You got to ask yourself, what is our military getting itself into? The question is more troubling when you realize that Kamala and the Defense Force do not know or they are fooling the people. All that happening. And Kamala Prasad says someone should win to believe what she's saying. Let me play Dr. Keith Christopher Rowley. In fact, before that, let me just read this quickly from Keith Sobero. The page of history cites various incidents in which nations serious about security of their citizens have gone to war with other nations over the killing or the spilling of blood of their citizens. But not our republic headed by Kamala Prasad Bisesa. The US killed 2 of our citizens last week. Yet over the weekend, our PM responded, whining and dining the local US embassy officials at a private residence as part of a private Diwali celebration. When some people question sarcastically whether TNT is a real place, I've always responded angrily. But now I too ask, is Kamala Prasad Bisesa a real person? Is this really happening in my Trinidad and Tobago? Does Kamala Prasad Bisesa realize that she is now the real PM? Does Kamala realize that she is now the real Prime Minister of TNT? Is she aware that 2 of our nationals were killed by US military forces under their claim that they suspected that our nationals were drug traffickers? Does she really need to be told, even as an SC, senior counsel, that their killings are considered murders and violation of international law? Is our Prime Minister still waiting to be really briefed that TNT's blood was really spilled? Yes, TNT is a real place, but our Prime Minister certainly cannot be considered a real person. She needs to put aside the glasses. Let's all pray for TNT. People are writing out and talking out. This one is from Michael Edmond Dihani. I'm reading all this because Kamala Prasad Bisesa saying that Dr. Keith Christopher Rowley is fear-mongering the people. Trinidad and Tobago is drifting towards authoritarianism. Something dangerous is unfolding in Trinidad and Tobago. Our government quiet embrace of United States military operation in our region marks a grave turn away from democratic accountability. What's being sold to us as security looks on closer inspection like surrender. Without public debate or parliamentary consent, foreign forces have been authorized to act within our jurisdiction. Drones now circle our waters and lives have already been lost under the vague promise of a zone of peace. But peace enforced by the sky is not peace, it's domination. The status of forces agreement gives immunity to foreign troops operating here. In plain terms, our laws no longer apply to them. We were told this is partnership. It is not. It is quiet erosion of sovereignty, the kind that happens before a country realizes it no longer controls its own ground. Worse still, the mood surrounding it. Worse still is the mood surrounding it. Citizens who question this militarization are painted as sympathizers with criminals. Their patriotism doubted, their voices ridiculed. That's how authoritarianism starts. Not with tanks in the street, but with the silences of dissent and the normalizing of fear. We are losing the language of democracy, consultation, consent, accountability. Each day we accept unilateral decisions made in the name of safety. We inch closer to a country where obedience replaces participation. Trinidad and Tobago must reclaim its sovereignty and its courage before this new order hardens around us. We owe it to our region, our history, and to those who will still believe that peace should never come at the cost of freedom. Yours faithfully, Michael Edward Dehane. So listen to Dr. Rowley.
Let me tell you what's in place now. And I hope to God it doesn't happen. Because I gave my life, my working life to this country. This is my children's country, my grandchildren's country. And I don't want it hurt. But let me tell you what the likelihood is going to be. If Venezuela is attacked. And the people of Trinidad and Tobago must know that, because this is not carnival. This is not a joke. It's all well and good for the Prime Minister to stay home and hide and talk stupidness through buffoons. But our life is involved here now. Because Venezuela is taking the position that Trinidad and Tobago is using its territory voluntarily to facilitate an attack on Venezuela. War nowadays is not a set of men run up with knife, bayonet on the end, and who have more bayonet and who been stronger, and like World War I. You don't have that. It's not even like World War II. This is 21, 25, the 21st century. War now is you stay hundreds of miles away and you fire missiles that are accurate to within a few meters away in land. War nowadays is fought where you send 500 drones at a target. And I see in Europe, civilian targets are fair game. That's our world today. We are dependent on gas from platforms 60 miles out there. We don't have a navy that could protect us. We don't have a coast guard that could even stand out there to be present, to hail anybody who's coming at us. That's a vulnerability of the worst kind.
All right, listen to me again.
We have a Bajan Prime Minister who doesn't go to work, doesn't talk to the media, don't care who she fire, don't care who gets a job, but she bad. This is not carnival. This is not a joke. It's all well and good for the Prime Minister to stay home and hide and talk stupidness through buffoons. But our life is involved here now.
Dr. Rowley warned that Trinidad and Tobago's critical energy infrastructure, much of it just 60 miles offshore, would be highly exposed if the region becomes militarized.
If a threat like that comes to us, a credible threat, that those platforms are in fact legitimate targets, those international companies will do one thing. They will remove their staff from the platform. Once they come off the platform, it shuts down the gas supply to Trinidad and Tobago. And that shuts down Point Lisas. It shuts down the Atlantic LNG plant. And it shuts down every factory in Trinidad and Tobago, because it would have shut down TNTech.
He also said contemporary conflict no longer begins with troops but with drones, missiles and cyber attacks, tools that could cripple the country long before any physical confrontation.
They have sacrificed our neutrality in matters of this nature, and they put us in a very, very vulnerable position. So vulnerable that if it comes to a shooting war off our coast, we are defenseless. And our economy is defenseless. Do we, as a government, as a people, genuinely believe that those platforms out there, that the Americans will remain there with their submarine and their aircraft carrier and their planes and their helicopters to protect us from Venezuela for the next month, the next year? Because these things have a way of going on for years.
Dr. Rowley is painting a real consequence of this thing. He went on to say, I'll get the other areas, that if that scenario happens where our rigs out there attack, the foreigners get out it and go, nobody manning it. That will shut down electricity because we ain't getting no gas from there, and electricity is a consequence of that. If electricity on the island go, water, we have problems saying water because we need electricity to ting the pumps. When that go, and down here is a zone and having warship and thing, ships that bring food first, because we don't have our own food here. They won't come down here. So we will end up having food shortages. Medicine to save people's lives that they need to take every day. Them ship ain't coming. Flight ain't coming in. Nobody want to fly on a zone where they feel like okay, blow the sky. We become isolated. And them who saying America will help it. America have its own problem. Donald Trump have its own problem. It is going to leave white people to help we down here what you call shithole and consider nothing. That is what they're counting on. All they want me to go back to the days during the war. It wasn't close to we in Trinidad, but the effect was felt in the Caribbean, where it's ration. You get a little packers, some you have to line up long to get a pound of this and a pound of that. It could be worse now. What they want to see all the children, you're walking going a missile come blow up at target, limbs, everything gone, people eye gone, foot gone. That's what I really want in this country, boy, and staying silent and then saying nothing while this racist drunk prime minister continue to eat away at the freedoms and the democracy because all is Indian, because they don't like the PNM. Or you understand what it is to live in a country that is not a democratic one. Look at all the decisions that she has been making. She hasn't consulted nobody. We under SOE. A month after they come in office and they complain when the PNM had 2 SOE in 10 years. They say they can't run the country, but them as they come in a month after, we under SOE to this day. And when they're quiet, nobody saying nothing. Nothing, nobody saying all the freedom being taken away and all they just comfortable in this country, boy. Now we getting set up and put in a position with grass. We was to stay out of these people's business. You talking about China, Russia, Venezuela. We was to stay out of them people's business. Cockroach in hand, no part in foul party. Stay neutral. You want me to believe you? Well, we don't believe you. Only your sycophant and followers and them who worship in you because you're Indian and you're like colored and they don't like nigger. I stand the word. Because behind all the back, all they calling Roger Alexander nigger, all they calling Michelle Benjamin nigger, all they calling all of them who is African in that UNC. Because Jack Warner said, he said the kind of things all the sit with African people behind closed doors, all of them. Jeremy, all you behind the back, they calling him nigger. Hungry nigger. That's what they just talk about with some of them. They real talk. Who don't like it could come off my life and say what they want to say. I live in this country. I want to see peace between the races. I want to see peace between all the races with a bill here. Not this thing with coming up with some business and killing in some people in their head and them going down with that. I want to tell we and Dr. Rowley as though he exaggerating. You see, young people talking out, boy. Listen to this guy here.
Today convinced me that many of you all are missing chromosomes and didn't know it. Today, the former Prime Minister had a whole press conference raising a bunch of burning issues. Meanwhile, with a certain demographic in Trinidad and Tobago society, he had 9 years. I thought he was retired. Why he's still speaking? What is the office of the former Prime Minister? Never heard of that before. And I'm watching his comments like, is this an evolutionary error in how stupid you all are, or is it deliberate? Because one of the points he raised, and this is I didn't even think of this, is that if war were to break out between Venezuela and America, our gas and oil rigs are out there in the open water with no way to protect them. In fact, we can't even protect them now as is if a few pirates decide to storm one of them. But we are out there giving the most lip and the most talks and the most backchats. If Venezuela decide that's when they're playing it, alright, lick down 2 missiles and then take on themselves like I don't know what happened, just what happened. That's the end of our manufacturing estate. That's the end of this entire thing here. That's it. But more than that, darkness. Because we need the natural gas to generate electricity. Darkness. And even if you were to import some natural gas in the short term, how long it will take for 2-3 natural gas ships to come here, and how long will that shipment last? But in the face of that, you all study it. I thought he retired. Why he talking? Why he talking, eh? But they tune in. And more than that, this whole neutrality thing, bro raised the vital point. I don't care if you don't like it, he raised the vital point. We should have remained neutral. Even if behind the scenes we are not, outwardly, we are not out here talking nonsense. And first, some of you are just stupid and dotish. When the Barbados Prime Minister said the Caribbean must remain a zone of peace, rather than understanding what that meant, your brains couldn't process that. So you all watch that statement and say, aha, you see, me and Motley in on the drugs too. She's supporting drug cartels because they're stupid. That is why you're thinking that. You're stupid and dotish. You don't understand that a zone of peace doesn't mean the war on crime stops. It means that you don't want to turn this into this. At this point, most of you are deliberately missing the plot for political and racial reasons. Because war is always a possibility when you have these things in your waters. We should have been there like Barbados. You see in our scene? Yeah, Trini, we see in our scene. Vinci, you see in our scene? Yeah, we see in our scene, Trini. Instead of that, roof, 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 roof. Yap, 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 yap. We don't afraid nobody. Gaza, we say. Meanwhile, you're hoping that this stays down here to protect you, because you don't want it gone. All that amount you have, you'll be like a potong back and behind a gate and the gate suddenly opened. You all better hope and pray that they don't make up, because America is for America and America only. And the same geriatric prime minister that got us into this mess wouldn't be able to get us out. I know it is like to say, oh, why are you using this picture? This is her official prime ministerial picture on Wikipedia. I know you all want me to use this one, the airbrush one where they propped up to make her look like, she's big and strong, but it's AI and airbrushing taking place here. This is not a real photo. If I leave this up too long, my content will get flagged for being AI, so I use an authentic picture. Henceforth, we're using this. But getting back to the point, think now, man. Nobody is telling you vote for PLM in the next election now. All I'm saying is, in your grown adult thinking life, at some point it has to be country first, party second. That's all. If you can't grasp that, then you and I can discuss nothing. But in case many of you all watch the press conference and still miss the point, let me dumb down a certain aspect of it for you. This is good. This is bad. See that? That's darkness. There is no LNG. This is good. This is bad. Good, bad. We want this, we don't want this. You don't have to be a PNM to see that.
People, I want to tell you, this is serious times. This is not no time for no skin and joke and whether it's a UNC and whether it's a PNM. And people talking trouble about, oh, Dr. Really coming up staging the opposition. Let me tell you something. Undermine the opposition. The opposition leader undermining children, so we call her Dr. Rowley said it, she could have come out and said the same thing. He came out and defended himself because that's the next thing, I'll play that part. He came out and explained properly, he never signed nothing on that SOFA deal, SOFA, that gives America the permission to come and use here to launch attack at no other country or nothing. It's simply for the cooperation and training and all that have been happening for years, because Kamala Persad in 2013, she signed it also and she ratified it also. So that she bullshit all here. Nothing in that state, America could come here and use here to attack nobody. But training and all them kind of thing and cooperation, all that is normal thing that have been happening for years and years. And as I say, she signed it also in 2013 and ratified it. This is serious time, people. There are no games and skin and grin and kind of thing, Think about it. Think about the future of your children, your daughter, your son, your husband, your mother, your father, your cousin, your good friend, your co-worker. Think about we in a war-torn space, and think about it like if it's Gaza we or something, and tell me for they're comfortable and happy with that, and happy with this government doing, and simply say, I don't like PNM now, I don't like Rowley, how we just talk and all kind of shit all the talking. Well, let's sit down there, everything is like give, grin, give, you know, and then we'll catch all themselves. We second-class citizens here in a war-torn place, who have one leg, one foot, who even make it. Who get blow up, you know, the body parts gone, nothing, we hungry, we belly big, fly all over with disease, starvation, the little babies born and dying, no light in the hospital, the Cuba hospital, no light when they want to carry children, because of the fact that something happened now with the rig, and at the end of that repair and all that. And we can maintain ourselves, so let's sit down there and feel this is a joke. But nah, Dr. Later need us on to upstage this and upstage. The man come out and speak because there's a void. There's a void for us getting information. We're not getting it from the Prime Minister of this country, the racist, drunk Prime Minister of this country, and she government. We're not getting it from them. And we ain't getting it from the opposition leader. No time she asked Kamala to respond, she responded and asked questions. After now, Kamala never respond, nothing at all. Dr. Rowley talked yesterday, she don't respond already. Only putting on herself in this position. Margaret Davison, Yvette, Angela, Ginger, Lorna, Sarah, Emmeline, Christopher, Erica, Keith, Charles, whole family from Puna, Charles Priest, Anne Shepherd, Ophelia, Andrew, Allison, Helen, Russell, Haas, Roxanne, America, Bolti, Adara, Ruth, Dr. Lloyd Straker, Lucy Brown, Cheryl, Alison, German, Francia, Pancho, E. Shorty, Bernard, Dean, Andel, Jocelyn, Augusto, Cato, Victoria, Pama Pensawa, and she friend from Hamilton. Yet, forget to take she name, McDonald, Banto, Katia, Raymond, Felician, Elise, Alexander, Joyce Davis, Margaret, Thomas, Angela Sobers, Denise Reed, something Thomas Farrell, can't remember, you know. Rosalind, not no geese, Diamond, Trini, Jewel, Sweet Berries, I think, or Blackberries, Papa. Myrtle, Tessa, Cynthia, Denise, Camilla, Mary the Hare, Kevin, Mr. Nelson, my friend Cheryl, everybody. Let me see who across here on. We're going to a little late tonight, but hi, Carla, Anon, 001, Foreign TT, Brenda, I am a right thinking Trini. Okay. Rockman, my dear Rockman. Rockman, I want to tell you something. I love you, darling. But don't come on my show and promote nobody else's show. Everybody know who showed us. Come when, don't come on my show to promote nobody else's show. Them people don't like nobody. Because that individual, when he come on this platform, instead of focusing to build himself on this platform, went about talking about my show. It had no content and what I do on the program. Well, basically, that I don't bring nothing to the table. So what my show doing on this thing? So though you want me to tell the whole pastor Google, he could call my name whatever I do business. Don't promote his show on my show. Them don't like nobody. All them know is fight down and hustle. I know that. I like to promote people. I like to support people and help any way I can help. Them just fight down. So don't promote it on my show. Everybody know when he showed us thing, everybody free to go. All right? So now when they hear tell them, Pastor Google show starting, remember, people know when it's starting and they're free to go, free to stay. Right? Because I love at the end of the day. But you see, them is people to watch. And I still love you, Rookman. Althea, and everybody, Trendsetter, Michelle Felix, Sidena, Julie Jones, not Julie Jones, no, Julian Jones, Patty, Donna, Annette, Gabriel, everybody who are locked on. So let me talk the thing on Facebook and those on Bounce Up Central. Thank you all for always coming and stay and join with me. Some people may not like what I say, and again, I just talk shit, me talking about in my mouth. I don't see what I see. I part of the whole scene too. Not forgetting the serious situation we in also. with this impending war, and where Colonel Pasabi says that the drunk racist prime minister has put us, and the fact that they're trying to, in my opinion, to make this place apartheid and take away everything that Black African people are part of. To stop that and not just bring things with Indian people that take part in alone, make this place an Indian homeland, join with Guyana and Suriname. Now, they might find I talking fanciful thing, whatever it is, but the biggest racist H.P. Singh, he write a book about that, and like them following the template because UNC is a reincarnation of DLP, and that was some of them thinking back then. Yeah? Thank God it had people like Lionel Sukaran, and there's a guy, a man with a Muslim name, who would have tried to break away from that kind of vibes and thinking, So it are good ones, but they need to come out and talk. People, love you all. See you all on Friday. Go spend a come with something, press something new. This is your Jen, Sister Jenny, Auntie Jenny. And if you want to get formal, it's Miss Jennifer Frederick. Another additional, we talk the thing unfiltered. And we went a little late because it's 2 days now, right? Love you all. I'm going.
From ever since time began, has been inflicted time and again by man against fellow man. Yet man wouldn't learn from history. It makes him more violent, producing deadly weaponry with nothing but evil intent. So the war could never be over. Peace will never be seen, long as man in his quest for power keep destroying fellow human beings. Fellow human beings, I'm telling you, nobody, oh nobody. When you really think of it, nobody wins a war, because the agony of defeat will linger. Nations still hating one another and superpowers, they're looking for more power. As long as violence and aggression still dwell in the hearts of man, brother, the war will go on. It cannot be won. No, the war will go on. It cannot be won. Fallout from war is chaos, plenty agony, plenty pain. The economy's left in shambles that may never rise up again. Collapse of the money system, disruption of foreign trade, people turning against their leaders for the blunders that they have made. Environmental pollution, radiation taking its course, and the thousands that die in battle. Oh, what a waste of human resource. Of course, I'm telling you, nobody, oh, nobody. When you really think of it, nobody wins a war. The brutal clash of ideologies, carnage and social anarchy, and life reduced to pitiful dimension. The falling back of progress and growth for entire generation. Sister, the war will go on. It cannot be won. No, the war will go on. It cannot be won. It pays dividends for a few, but what does it profit the masses? I mean laymen like me and you. While the leaders playing their chess games, using the masses as pawn with political propaganda, the massacre still goes on. The soldiers, they never started, but they give their lives easily, while the leaders are in a safe place working out strategy. So History with the blood of the weak and the mighty. Great, great cultures vanished completely. War can create and destroy political boundaries as it goes on. Sister, it cannot be won. The war will go on. No, 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 the war will go on. It cannot be won. The object of war is simple. Just conquer and take over. It doesn't matter how many people get wiped out in the massacre. The enemy must be vanquished. The battle has to be won. But the conflict will never be over, cause the agony lingers on. There'll always be more dictators, more Hitlers, more Saddam Husseins. And with these lunatics in power, it will just start all over again. And again, I'm telling you, nobody, oh, nobody, when you really think of it, nobody wins a war. The spiritual revolution to stop this brutal aggression, or else peace in the world will always be out of our hands. As long as the quest for wealth and power still live in the hearts of man, brother, the war will go on. It cannot be won. No, 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 the war will go on. It cannot be won. The war will go on. Peace in the world. The war will go on. We need a spiritual revolution. The war will go on. Lord, put a hand, save the children. The war will go on. Man fighting against man. The war will go on. It cannot be won. The war will go on. It cannot be won.